Welcome back to the Top 6 show. We've got a fantastic panel for you tonight. Giuseppe is on his way. In fact, he's still late from 3 weeks ago when he was meant to be on. He's almost home. It's only taken him 3 weeks. He'll be with us momentarily. We have Staffy in the house with us today. We have man like Henry Wright. My bro Will is here with us. And making his debut, Chelsea fan Quest is with us as well. Big up, gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here. Viewers, loads to talk about today. We've got a big debate coming. Does preseason matter? We've got to have this out because I'm so confused whether it matters or not. People always ducking and diving and changing their views. I don't get it. So 1 minute they say it's banter, then they say it's serious. I'm confused. We're talking about it today. We're also looking at Isak to Liverpool, a major update in that transfer. Eze to Arsenal. How much is that needed now after watching today's game? Plus, Chelsea, they are going to bid for him. Chelsea will be making a move for Alejandro Garnacho at some point this window as well. We're talking that. We're talking Benjamin Sesko and anything else you want us to speak about. Put your comment, super chat, member chat, comment, and we'll be directed in that. We'll go in that direction. But gentlemen, how are we all? We all well and good?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't complain.
Yeah, very good. Another trophy today. So, you know what I mean? Champions of Hong Kong. You'll never sing that.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Hey,
undefeated preseason as well. So it's all good.
Yeah, Quest, thank you very much for joining us, Matt, making your debut on the show. I appreciate it a lot, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. It's I was watching a little bit earlier as well, so I got a lot to say, but I'm gonna let the people do what they do first. Because you know what I mean? You know, when you're coming on as a sub, you just gotta wait for your turn to get the ball and then make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Waiting for the coming on like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, waiting for his moment. I like it.
It's called Hasselbank Jr. So
you know what? There is a little bit of Hasselbank there. I see it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Where to start today? Where to start today? We'll come on to Isak in a bit. I think we'll talk about that in a moment. I want to start the show with the preseason conversation actually, because all banter aside, does preseason results, we know that fitness in preseason matters, of course. Does preseason really matter?
Yes. Preseason matters.
The results don't matter. No.
Results.
But obviously, like the performances matter. But if you lose, who cares? It's about how the game went in terms of like, you know, your main 11 players. Because if you play a pretty strong 11 and then you go out there and you look like trash and then you lose, then yeah, it does matter because you looked bad. But I don't think losing preseason games doesn't really matter. It's about more so the performance.
So if you
it's a matter of how you lose. This here's the thing. Preseason matters because we all sit here. First of all, football fans are hypocrites. We all at some point say something and we're hypocritical about it later. Preseason, I think, is the biggest one. We all like to sit here and say preseason doesn't matter. Who cares? It was just a friendly game. Yet we sit here, we demand our clubs to get their signings in early so these players can come in, build up the fitness, build up the team chemistry, and play in preseason. So even that, 3, 4, 5 games that all our teams play in preseason, that's when you afford fuck-ups. As Will said, that's when results don't matter. But then the season starts and you're like, you know what? We had our time to gel in preseason. This is why we all sit here and make fun of teams who get their business done late, and we praise teams who get their business done early. Why? Because we all want them in preseason. Preseason is your chance to try new things going into the season, whether you're a new manager or if you're a manager who just made a couple new signings and you want to try new tactics, you want to try to implement a few things, that is the chance for you to do that. So when we sit here and say preseason doesn't matter, of course it matters. Because you're not going to start the first game of the season and in game week 1, your manager's going to start tweaking things that he wanted to tweak going into the season. But he said, you know what, fuck, I don't want to do it in preseason. I'll just do it game week 1. That's when you lose your head because of results. So, of course, it matters.
Wait, so
be hypocrites and pick and choose when to talk about a preseason game and when not to. And today we got a pure example of that.
But then isn't it more so, again, the performance matters versus the result? So do you think losses matter in preseason?
It's
like, which one do
of
you
how
think
you
is like more
lose.
important?
So I'll tell you what. If you put out, I'm going to use Madrid right here. If Madrid put their first team for the first 45 minutes, all your best players, Mbappe, Vinny, and you're winning 1-0. And then in the second half, you take them all out and you're giving 45 minutes to all the second string players, academy players, youngsters, and you lose that half 2-0 and you end up losing the game 2-1. I'm not going to look at that game and say Madrid fans should be angry because they lost today, because who gives a fuck? You played well in the first half. You only led by a goal, but then eventually you lost because you just made hella subs and it was just all about fitness. Context matters. Let's not act like we don't watch the games and understand the context of the game. If all our players, our main starters, just play 45 minutes and then you see a whole new team come up for the second half, I'm hardly going to judge that team. But when you watch a game like today, because I know where this conversation is building from, because we watched a game today that, to be fair, it felt like a Premier League game in terms of intensity and in terms of the way both teams are playing. Yes, you did see a lot today of what you're going to see next season in terms of Spurs and Arsenal. So if Arsenal fans want to come out and say, today I saw some warning signs, I think it's valid. If Spurs want to come out and say, I saw some positive signs because it's technically Tuchel's, I keep calling him Tuchel, Thomas Frank's first kind of big game with Spurs, yes, you can make points about that. So yes, the context, it just matters on how you're going to talk about it. People who want to ignore the context, then you can call it out. But context matters.
But certain fans deserve banter, though. Like,
what phase is Thomas Frank?
Like, certain fans deserve to get cooked. Like, for example, right? Big up to Egal. But this guy's on Twitter. Oh, look at Liverpool against AC Milan, the back line, and this is not going to blah, blah, blah. And then today, preseason matters. Well, it kind of mattered when you were trying to banter Liverpool. So then it's kind of like, then you get it back.
But can I defend Egal there, though? But this is what I mean. There's a lot of serious. No, but I will defend Egal there because there are serious matters in the world that follow this same path. We pick and choose when the banter began. The only reason Egal did that is because the same people that are now calling him a hypocrite were laughing at Arsenal for only beating AC Milan 1-0 in a preseason game. And this is the problem that I find, is it's finding the origin of this. I don't disagree with anything really that Staffy said. I think you have to look at elements. For instance, United, Areola last night said Manchester United are a different breed, or words to that effect. Out of this world, we're nowhere near them. We were very, very good last night. But what I didn't see was Staffy tweeting saying, oh my God, I think we can win the Premier League. That's because Staffy knows that one good performance and scoring all those...
my left chat, I can't lie. They were going crazy.
The only tweets I saw from you were negative ones, to be fair. But like, you're not going to tweet out suddenly and go, I've changed my mind. Ruben Amorim isn't going to fail. I've changed my mind. We're not a dead club, because it's one particular.
Keep regurgitating that. We'll revisit that.
I know. I'm defending you here. You made a point that it's not going to work.
You're not
one
really
good preseason game isn't going to make Staffy, and he's right, change his mind. It's not a big enough indicator. Equally, on my match reaction for Arsenal today, I thought individual players, and I called out Declan Rice, I called out Martinelli, I called out the crossing from set pieces from Odegaard and Saka, to name a few things. I criticized those elements because they were nowhere near good enough. But equally, that poor performance doesn't take away from the fact that I thought they were quite good against Newcastle, and I thought they were really good and probably should have scored more goals against AC Milan. I look at all of those games together and go, I wouldn't say it's been a disastrous preseason. Equally, I'm not saying, fucking hell, they look like the greatest team since Barcelona in 2009. There's always this lack of balance because everybody does this to a certain degree. We pick and choose when banter should exist. If I said today United are going to win the Premier League because of how we played last night, I'd be called stupid. The same people saying I'm stupid, very likely to say this proves Arsenal can't win the league, Terry. And I just sit there and I just think both things are just so polarized and there's no nuance, because you explained it properly, Staffy. There's indicators in there, yes, but there shouldn't be a conclusion drawn. And I'll tell you as to why. There's so many elements of preseason games that are not real. And you saw it in today's match with Arsenal. You actually saw it in their game against Leeds a lot as well. How many fouls happened and there's no yellow cards? The amount of time Spurs dragged an Arsenal player down today, you couldn't do that in a real game. There could be a few yellow cards. It changes the complexity. Equally, when you're making 9 subs in the second half, I've done it with Man United every game. As soon as we make a mass amount of subs, 69 minutes was last night. That's where I really assessed the game. I assessed the first 69 minutes because 9 subs, 10 subs, that's so you can't judge a football match after that point because that's abnormal to the rules of the game. You're suddenly not in a real football match because you're not able to do that. So I agree with you, Staffy, 100%.
But Banter's always going to exist there. You're doing too much with the Banter part because Banter exists. I'm not going to lie. Win, lose, or draw, Banter exists. Yesterday, I've seen people say, "Oh, you're not going to win the league now," because like obviously people were saying our first back-to-back Premier League wins. We're on top of the table because we're in that Premier League summer series, so we're on top of the table. That is Banter. Banter exists anyways. The issue is, and this is why I'm frustrated. It's just like when it comes to Arsenal, we have to walk on eggshells. I am not going to walk on eggshells around you, Arsenal fans. You can have Terry Fleur sit on the Football Terrace for a 24-hour stream defending you guys all you want, and I still won't give a shit. I still will say what I want to say, and fans will still say what they want to say. When you go and you play a game of football, and a lot of us seen a lot of what you've seen in this game today, we've seen it over the last season and the season before. This is not just a one-off. This is a continuation of what we've seen in terms of performances. We talked about what type of signings that you need. We talked about what signings we don't agree with, the likes of like Norgard not being that good, blah, blah, blah. And the likes of maybe you need an Eze, you needed a Rodrigo, the type of strikers we were talking about. And this is when you called me out, and this is why I said, I'm going to be on the top 6 today. When I was talking about Gyokeres, first of all, I didn't slander Gyokeres today. I slandered his manager. The reason I slandered his manager is because I sat on this very channel for weeks and months predicting what I think is going to happen. I know what Gyokeres is as a player. I know what Arteta is as a manager, and I just don't think it's going to mesh. I think the right signing was to get Gyokeres fine. That shows ambition. But when you bring him in and he plays about 20 minutes of football and you're giving him Mitrovic shifts, the guy was playing like he's Mitrovic. He looked like he was fighting for his life every time that ball was being crossed because he's not used to. Bro, look at him again, bro. The guy got 2 touches in 20 minutes of football. You brought a striker on and he got 2 touches in 20 minutes of football. You can argue that's only because they were losing 1-0 and obviously Spurs just put everyone behind, so there's not going to be any space. That's fine. But then when people just talk about it and they're showing concern, once again, a game that you look at Arsenal and you say, you know what? They need a creator in the midfield. They need a creator down the left. You got Declan Rice getting 4 passes in 50 minutes of football. And I'm hearing people talking about Odegaard passing the ball back. No, you shouldn't be talking about Odegaard passing the ball back. You should be talking about why my midfield has only one progressive passer in Odegaard when I only have Norgard and I have Rice. We are talking about a team that we're going into this season that is going to be going head-to-head with Liverpool for the league. If you want to go head-to-head with Liverpool, I got to judge you by what I think Liverpool are going to do. And Liverpool have better players than I think that you have. So your manager needs to get certain things right. But when I'm seeing indications, once again in a game, that your manager is going to continue with what he did last season, and I don't think it's going to benefit most of your players or your attackers like Gyokeres, then I'm going to call it out. It has nothing to do with Banter. It has nothing to do with, just one preseason game. It's valid to call it out.
Well, okay. And it is valid to call it out. I want to call out one thing and this is very serious for a moment. There's no treading on eggshells. You lot are all in the group chats. I don't tell anybody what they can and can't call out. And
No. You said Arsenal fans.
Yes, but you mentioned, you said that you don't care what Terry does. I ain't going to tread on eggshells.
You defend them. That's what it is.
Hang on. But that may imply to people that I tell people what they can and can't speak about, and I'm just shutting any amoeba down from saying that.
That's not what I'm saying.
I don't think you're saying that, but I know how the internet works. I
literally texted Terry in the chat saying I'm going to cook you today.
Hang on. Let me just finish. I know what the internet's like. I offered somebody a job once, and it was a full-time job, which meant I said, well, you have to dedicate yourself to the Football Terrace. They went around telling people I was trying to control them. So the internet is a very weird place. You've sometimes got to stamp these things out early. On the banter side of things, this is the thing. You're allowed to call out who you want. I'm not going to talk about it. But I also saw you put a quote tweet out where you were like, August 17th, we will be here, and you put out Gyokeres' stats from today, right? So that's you bantering. That's you bantering and having fun with it as well. I don't look at that and go, that's serious analysis. The issue that I have is that people pick and choose when they can and can't banter. For instance, Egal calls things out. Well, I thought you said preseason was serious, Egal. Well, he was only doing it because people were bantering him in the same way you've put out that tweet. Someone now might respond to you with a tweet. When suddenly there's a cutoff point to when people can and can't banter. And equally, though, the only thing I disagree with you on is you sort of sat there and agreed with Will that when all the mass substitutions happen, it's hard to assess and judge a game, but yet you're taking the performances of Gyokeres after that point where the substitutions happen to go, I told you what I said might happen this season is right. But you're using a period of the game that you've also agreed isn't an area and time that you should judge because the mass substitutions have happened.
No, I said it's fair if you want to think
it's a fair point.
It was 1-0 at the time. It's
That's
fair
getting
to think that.
sauteed.
No, hold on. It's fair to think that if you want to say, but it was down 1-0. And then you could probably argue if the game was earlier on and he was not playing 1-0 down, that's fair. I don't mind that counter. Then we're going to have to wait and watch again. But it doesn't take away from what I still watch from this Arsenal team. Again, another game where I'm looking at Martinelli doing the same thing down the left. No creativity from that area. Havertz doesn't even run any channels, so he doesn't really offer any threat over there. The only creativity just comes from Saka, and I feel bad for Saka because every time I watch him, it's just like he has to work overtime because of everyone else around him. That midfield was dead of Norgard, Odegaard, and Rice. And one of the things we talked about on Straight Facts for the last few weeks is that they might have certain midfielders that on paper they look good. I just don't see a dynamic. I don't see a 3-man midfield that you can put out there that's going to have everything that you need, which is why they still need to address a creator. There's no point of doing all this if you're not going to address a creator. When you're still lumping the ball forward or you're just running down the flanks and crossing the ball again, that is a continuation of last season. You were offering nothing. There was no creative ideas with or without Gyokeres. So I understand you saying the period Gyokeres was on, but the gameplay was still the same.
But everything you just said there, though, I said on my match reaction. Everything, like I didn't use the same words as you, but I criticized certain players. I also pointed out and said this to Brandon. I said, I get the frustrations coming from you. The one thing that I would point out, which I think is a fair, again, balance, is none of the new signings started or even in the matchday squad. And those new signings supposedly are coming in to address those issues that you're talking about. And what I don't do in preseason is draw, for instance, you're someone that thinks our midfield will get overrun and run through loads this year. And I agree with you by and large. Last night, though, when we had our main players on the pitch, we had 65% of the ball. We pinned them back. There's a few counters against us. I'm not going to watch last night and go, see, Staffy, you're fucking wrong. We had most of the ball last night.
Terry, I talked about
Casemiro and Bruno can work. No, I understand
what the whole season of Arsenal played that style of football.
I understand that, but I think I get your point. I do get your point. My view is just very much, and everything you said at the start. Everyone would love all their signings in June, so the whole squad had a full preseason, so everybody was fully integrated. The issue with that is most clubs, even Liverpool that we've praised this year, are not going to have don't have all their signings in for preseason to fully integrate them. Chelsea that signed 3 players very early in the window are still now chasing Xavi Simons, and Hato's just arrived. Garnacho's going to come in. I mean, they're not even going to have a preseason. It's going to be very disjointed in that way. So I just think that we sometimes live in this we create this kind of utopia vision of all the players in early, fully integrated preseason, then I can make a different assessment. Those things are rare. Next summer, you're not going to get that. The World Cup's on, which means not one single club is going to have a real, full, wholehearted preseason. Yeah, so that's my only issue with the conversation is preseason's important for fitness. I agree with you and Will. Performances are key. I just think it depends on the club or someone's convictions or agenda. I'm not saying you have an agenda. That I think we sometimes over-reg what we have seen. For instance, some people think Van Dijk's looking a bit dodgy and Liverpool's defense is really wobbly. They'll see the AC Milan game and go, see, I told you I was right. That defense is getting cooked next year.
Did say I have an agenda. You did say it on your match reaction. You said the reason I said what I said about Gyokeres is that when he fails, I could say, oh, I told you I was right. That was never the case.
Well, that's just a bit of banter. That's just a bit of banter. Because when you put out a tweet, this is it, but you do the same. You put out one tweet about Gyokeres with his stat. You've done exactly the same, Staffy. This cooking is turning. You're burning your fingers here. And I said to you earlier, you're about to throw water onto an oil fire. You put out one tweet showing Gyokeres' stats, and you talk about. And you're right. You talk about how the system is going to kill this guy next year. You put out another tweet saying 17th of August, we're here for you, implying we are going to cook Arsenal with it. So you're putting out seriousness and banter on your own feed. But yet when I put out a serious point and then a bit of banter, you cry about it, Staffy. Come on, bro. You're mental.
Reaction. I don't know if you're being serious or joking. You look like you are just actually saying, you know what? This is what fans want to do with Arsenal players. So when they fail or whatever, say, I called it. It's not about calling it, bro. I'm not getting. I mean, we do the joke on Friday where we get a certificate. I'm not getting a medal for having a correct prediction. I don't give a fuck about, bro. I don't want to win or guess the losing lottery ticket. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm just saying when fans watch and they have valid reasons to come out and say, this is what Arteta needs to do to get this player going. And in the first game, you're not seeing any indications of change. It's fine to say that. It is completely valid to say that. It's not an agenda. It has nothing to do with anything. And I do think I'll get proven wrong. It's not that I want to be proven right. I don't give a fuck about that. Sorry. I think I'll be proven right, but not that I give a fuck about it because it's not my team anyways. It's Arsenal. It's just it's too obvious that with the type of signings that Arsenal making, the amount of money that they're spending, especially on Gyokeres, if the manager doesn't tweak anything and you see more performances of this where there's a lack of creativity, everything is slow, everything is just dead in the final third, he will eventually face his fate. And my prediction was that he will be the downfall of Arteta because people are going to look and say, no more excuses. We gave you money for attackers. You got Gyokeres in and you can't get him firing. Time to give someone else the job.
The thing is, none of that I disagree with. And you're allowed to come on the terrace and say it.
So
it's
not
all
an agenda.
good.
Okay,
now look, this don't even matter for real because Arsenal aren't winning anything. So it doesn't really matter. This is a very long conversation for a team that's gonna come top. I'd say they probably come second at best. Or I'm thinking third, to be honest. And then at the end of the season, we're going to have all the excuses for why they didn't win. And, we didn't get Eze and we signed Madueke. So how could we win the Premier League? Blah, blah, blah. They're not going to win shit anyway. So, I feel like kind of like talking about Arsenal is it's kind of pointless, bro. I don't do it. It's the same thing every season. It's the same thing.
I hear we'll go to some super chats here. That was a great conversation. I love that. Staffy, are Newcastle and AC Milan crap too?
First of all, I haven't called anyone crap. So when you say crap too, there has to be a crap one. I didn't say anyone was crap for me to follow up with someone else being crap.
Are you saying Arsenal? Are you saying Arsenal were good?
I didn't say Arsenal were crap.
They were just that
talked about it. No, see what you're doing here. See what you're doing. What did I say?
I'm asking for specificity.
In my rant, when I was talking about Arsenal, what did I say?
By the way, that's banter. Just don't take it. That there is banter.
I can tell this time. When I was talking about Arsenal, what did I say? I said their competitor is who? Liverpool. So I'm judging them by the base that you're going for the league. I'm not pleased. If one more person tells me to talk about United and keep the same energy with my club, I literally beef Terry every day because he thinks I'm too negative with my club and I call everyone shit. Stop telling me that I don't hold my club to the same standards. We're just shit. There's no point of bringing my club to the Arsenal conversation right now because we're not competing for the league. And to answer
speaking of Man United, breaking news for you, Staffy, from Ben Jacobs. Jadon Sancho is now prepared to lower his wage demands. An exit now looks more feasible. So it looks like Man United are not going to lose any money now selling him because we were patient. Just want to put that out there. So well done, Man United.
Good for news. Good for news.
I got beef with Sancho, man.
Staffy wanted to sell him at a loss a few weeks ago, so we couldn't reinvest the money. Well done, Man United.
I did not say that. See, is that banter or real? So I know how to address you now because I never know what you mean anymore.
Yes, fucking well done.
Show me one clip where I said that. Where I said sell him at a loss.
I swear, I'm on a real
Don't let
level.
it get to you, man.
Straight facts. I swear, straight facts. You were like, I'd rather sell now for a lesser amount and get rid of him so he's gone than wait and maybe not get rid of him. I think you said something like that.
It was when he was offered the servants package.
Yes.
And I said, I'm okay with it. You just wasn't okay with it because he was going to still get a big chunk of his wages. I said, I'd rather get rid of him now and do that.
Yeah, my issue wasn't even Sancho. My issue was I didn't want to pander to any of these players and give them what they wanted. You wanted to hold
him for one more year and put him on the bench.
I would rather have set a precedent and said, you guys don't get what you want. The club's going to win here in terms of a moral standpoint rather than financial. I'd rather win morally and lose financially.
Years of wages
but I would rather lose financially but win morally than lose morally and financially.
You just called me out for wanting the club to lose financially, but you'd rather lose financially.
But you wanted to lose morally and that hold us back longer. Your moral victory for me. That's a moral certificate. Get us KJ. You're backstage. Get me a moral certificate made, please. Roms, brother, long time no see, man. It's good to see you, my G. Good to see you, bro.
You too. It feels good to be back, man.
That's great to have you on, brother.
Arguments.
Great to have you on, man. It's not banter yet. Where was this over-analyzing versus Newcastle and AC Milan when we clearly changed the tactics? Attackers stayed high. We moved the ball quick centrally and created a lot more in transition. This is true. That's again, but maybe this is not a dig. Maybe Staffy didn't watch those games and he just watched this one. So
I didn't.
Well, there we go. So that's maybe why my view of Arsenal's preseason is different to yours. I've watched 4 games. You've watched 1 game, and that changes perception.
I watched the one with Gyokeres in it. That's what mattered.
If someone mentions anything negative about Arsenal, you always add a positive because of balance. Why never the other way around? Well, this isn't true. There's been many a person that's come on here and said that Arteta shouldn't be sacked, and I've said, well, why? There's got to be an end goal. He's got to be judged on winning things. That's just one case on point. What you're doing there, Garcia, thank you for the super chat. You did it earlier on today. You just lied. To say that literally today, I criticized loads of the players. I said I think Martinelli's got to go from the football club. Multiple things. It's not a positive. You could argue that's positive because it might make Arsenal better. But yes, sorry, mate. I said they got it wrong last summer with their transfer window. Sorry that you don't remember any of that. Arsenal have grown above Odegaard and Martinelli. They should go. Staffy, breathe. Let's wait and see. Karma is what the Arsenal perspective says here. Ronin says, Staffy, you've got to follow up that rant with...
Yeah. There we go. I said it. I almost said bing bong, no, bro. That's cringe.
Staffy, never do that again.
Bing bong.
Never do that again.
Will, you're from the same area.
You get a super chat.
There's a word that you've stopped using, Staffy, and it upsets me you've stopped using it. It's maybe the biggest New Jersey word you ever used to say, because I used to hear it on The Sopranos. When someone says something stupid or crazy, you used to go, oh, Madon, right? Which is obviously like, yeah, you stopped saying it. It's like, I used to love when you used to say that. You used to go, Madon. Like, you used to sound like The Sopranos used to say that a lot. Oh, Madon.
I never said moron. I said moron.
No, I swear you said that. I swear you said it. I might have got it wrong, to be fair.
I only
maybe you just say moron and the accent was
out of here. Those are the only ones I say.
Never seen this amount of criticism for 15 minutes of play in preseason game after one training session with the team. Crazy is what Danny says here. Yeah. AC Milan beats Liverpool. Staffy, you're confused.
What does that have to do with anything? When did I talk about AC Milan?
I
also,
think
Liverpool lost to them, and I swear they had what's his name, a midfielder playing in centre back. They had Rums, you watched the game. I heard Tom Little say the back line was one of the worst back lines I ever had in my life.
It was crazy. Centre backs playing midfielders playing centre back. It was crazy. But
why did we rip into slot? Why did we rip into slot for putting square pegs in round holes? What a mug! No, I'm joking. We know what happened. It's pre-season. It don't matter. We know Liverpool are going to be good. We know they're going to be good. Moving on slightly from this, we'll come back to Arsenal later in the show. If you haven't hit the like button yet, people, please get that done. Especially if you enjoyed my cooking. So make sure you get that done. I want to speak Chelsea for a moment. Quest, Alejandro Garnacho. Seems like it's happening, bro. And you know how you know when it's coming. Now. You know when you know it's coming. When Fabrizio starts retweeting old tweets.
Yeah.
We all do the same. We all go, oh. That was me. So yeah, Alejandro Garnacho. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Before you say anything, I want my money, and I want my money ASAP. Listen, miss any pennies, no dimes, no nothing. I want it all
talk
cash.
To the bank, man. I ain't got no money for you. Listen,
I want it all in cash, bro.
This is what I'm gonna say about Garnacho. Let me be. The thing about Garnacho is this: it's a bit like with the Madueke situation. Yeah, Chelsea fans feel aggrieved because of what we've seen happen with Garnacho at Man United. But the truth is, Garnacho is actually a decent player. So the horrible part is in my heart as a football purist, I will take him. He is a wicked player, and his ceiling is actually very high. He has the ability to really kick on if he wants to kick on. The problem is, he's got his brother running his socials. He's got that mentality where he right now thinks he's above his station, and he's not at a club where they can actually tell him any different. So it's a bit of a conundrum. He has to leave United in order to prove who he thinks he is, but we don't really want to be the club to see if that's actually going to work out. So for me personally, it's like, look, he's cold. He's cold-blooded. I don't even remember who the team was last season where United was losing, I think, like 2. It might have been Brentford. And he come off the bench, picked it up on the left-hand side, right-footed it straight into the top right-hand corner. This guy is special. Now, what I do think about Chelsea is the environment we're building is one where such that toys that have been thrown away can come back and find value. So I would actually believe that he could come into the Chelsea setup now and be looked after by your Fernandezes, your Caicedos, your
the South American brothers. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, bro. Hey, you know, you got to call it what it is, yeah?
Santos. Yeah.
You get it,
right
yeah?
in.
So
he's gonna come in, yeah, and
That's
he's
his
gonna
boy.
be right with the people that speak the Spanish and all of that good stuff, yeah. And I tell you what, he will mature very quickly because what he will understand is this is your second chance. It's okay for you to be the up and coming academy product who is not quite, contributing in the way they think you should, but you can have that sense of grandiosity. It's okay to do that when you're there. You can't come and do that at this Chelsea.
let him.
Do you know what,
Don't
Bessie, right?
interrupt. Let him cook. I love this.
No, I have to interrupt because the way you and Terry are smiling is making me sick. Because I heard the word.
Bro,
That's
you know what
and
you're
I heard
doing? This is
Garnacho.
cock blocking. That's what you're doing right now.
No. Listen, he's special. Oh, listen, I'll be so real
Yes.
with you, yeah.
Wait, what? Who's special?
Garnacho.
Garnacho, haven't you been listening? He said Garnacho is
Special at what?
Listen,
This is
he's
why
a
we
ball
lost.
carrier.
Everything he just
Hold
said.
on, wait.
Everyone
Tell me
Go
what
on.
you've seen from Garnacho on the
Yeah.
football pitch that makes
He
him
just
special.
did.
Okay, so he's a ball carrier. He's confident in the final third. He doesn't shy away. He's not like
He's
Martinelli.
confident in the final third.
Yeah, no, but that's important. You know why that's important? Because at the
Haven't you
start of the
already
show,
got, like,
you
6
lot
minutes
said
to
you've
do
seen
that?
Martinelli drive up to the left wing and drive right back. That's a
Kwesi,
man that's lacking in
Kwesi,
confidence.
can I ask you something? Do you think
go
the
ahead.
move? Do you think the move even makes sense? Because look, I know you lot are going to battle on four fronts, as
Yeah.
I feel you should, and you need
Yeah.
a deep squad. But him competing with Gittins and Javi Simmons will probably be used as a left/10.
Yeah,
It doesn't even make sense for him to go to Chelsea.
I hear you, but you know what it is? People understand now. When you come to Chelsea, you wait in line.
Best.
That's what we've become. We've become that place where now you come, you don't just come and start. I don't know about Puskas
50
winner. I
million
never
to
say
wait in
Puskas
line.
winner. That's a bit mad.
He is. He did. He
No,
won.
he
He
actually
won,
is.
he won the goal of
Oh,
the
with a
year
back
award.
kick.
Yep.
Yeah.
So listen, let me hold on a minute. Let me come back again. Sorry. Why do I think he's special? Let me just add, yeah?
Yeah,
Confident
say it
in the
again.
final third, Puskas winner, yeah? And there's big names in that. But also, mentality. This is the thing about Garnacho. The one thing I always see from this kid is he comes on and he's like, give me the ball. I've seen Martinelli for 4 years run up to the left-hand side of that Emirates, turn right back around and pass it into the midfield. I've seen
Well done,
Madueke for 2 years straight run up the right-hand side, turn around and pass it back and then adjust his shorts. You listen, there's a certain kind of player that when they get into that final third, they make things happen. Garnacho is that guy and will continue to be that guy no matter where he plays football. So you can see what he does now and be like, oh, I don't like it because of attitude and all this. Cool, fine. I hear all of that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, this kid is going to be something in football. Whether is he going to do Ronaldo, Messi?
Player.
No, he ain't going
That's
to
what
be.
he's gonna be.
No, but listen, even and
He's
the other thing is this.
ass. What are we talking about? Garnacho is garbage, brother.
Bro.
If Manchester United
go.
finesse you out of 50 million, this guy should be at.
It can never be a
Getafe.
finesse. It
He
can never
should
be a
at
finesse.
Elche cutting grass.
It can never be a
Garnacho
finesse.
is not a good player, bro.
Nah,
What are
bro.
we doing here?
It's just two clubs shaking hands, saying, "Listen, we know we're doing you a bit of a favor, and you're doing us." a
So
bit of a favor. It's
basically,
kind of
you
procedures.
feel bad about Mason Mount, so you'll look out for them with Garnacho. Like
Oh,
that's
no, I
kind
don't-
of what it seems like to me. It's kind of
No,
like
no.
you to scratch their back.
There's
and
a
they
reason
put
why
the ball from
Staffy and
you.
Terry were staying quiet. That's all I'm going to
Listen,
say.
Garnacho,
I love good football tape. I let it talk.
brother,
That's
Garnacho.
my rule. When people speak football and they're cooking, I don't interrupt.
I agree. Me and
When they're
Staffy,
cooking, this is
me and Staffy are in a
gaslighting.
union here. We're in a union here. We're together. We're together.
Kwesi,
Long
Kwesi,
hand. We're together.
Kwesi,
We're together, bro. We're together
There's
on this
one
one.
thing.
Yeah,
There's
go
one
ahead.
thing I agree with you in what you said, right? I feel like every footballer needs to have a bit of arrogance. And
Yeah.
Garnacho, people always bring his brother into this. I feel like he has arrogance that he should have in the play. He believes in himself.
Oh,
He's a very
absolutely.
confident player. I agree with that. But there's a reason why United have been screaming out for forwards, why they've brought in Kuna, why they've brought in Bremer, why they're looking at number 9s. The amount of times the guy would go one-on-one and just fluff fluff his chance, or when he should pass, he shoots. When he should shoot, he pass. He's not good. What I will say, do I think he can get better? Yes, he can improve as a player, but not to Chelsea standard, not to United standard. Come on.
Can I just say this really quickly?
The only good thing about Garnacho, there's only one quality that I think that, okay, he's a direct player.
Yeah, that as well.
That's it. He, like, his pace is okay. In the final third, it's like Ron said, he doesn't really know what to do. It's like a deer in headlights. His shooting.
Which Garnacho did you watch?
No. Me and Staffy, this man, he's electric. He's got electric pace, doesn't he, Staffy? He's got electric pace. Electric pace.
Create chances. So a team that in attack is awful came in the bottom half of the table, lost in the Europa League final to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Don't want to keep Garnacho. Hold on. They don't want to keep Garnacho.
Say that again, Will. Just one more time.
Has all these special characteristics, is from their academy, but they're forcing him out. He's ass.
But listen.
Not forcing him out. Hold on.
Let me just land this. Let me just land this plane here, quick, because it's actually important. You have to look at football with history in mind. Pogba left. Lingard, who was one of the upstarts, eventually didn't make it fully to where he's supposed to be. Yeah,
he's playing in South Korea.
Exactly.
That's where Garnacho should be.
Hold on. Rashford has never been able to become the king of the theater of nightmares, if you want to call it that now. Yeah.
Because Rashford's
how many players? No, but hold on. You have to answer the question. How many players have come through the United Academy and made it?
But how many have left and then made it?
So the silence is golden for a reason, bro. Because at the end of the day,
I can't believe you put Pogba and Rashford's name in this. I actually can't. Hold on. You're starting to trigger me.
No, listen. If you let a player go and then buy him back for 100 million, you 100% did not develop that player to where he needed to be.
Oh, you're talking about his first stint. Yeah,
so my point is this. Yeah. Listen, I'm not trying to say Garnacho is levels and levels and levels above people in his age group, but what I am saying, there's multiple reasons why I'm okay with this deal to a degree, is because one, Garnacho is a good player. You can't take that away from him. There are plenty of wingers in this league that are below his standard. If you're telling me that he's below like a Jacob Murphy at Newcastle, you've lost your mind. This is a guy that I've seen come to the bridge, score a goal, and sit on the advertising boards. But this guy's got quality in him.
Can I ask you something? Where do you rate him? Like, give me an estimate of where you rate him compared to other wingers.
Yeah,
I'm not going to tell you go through every team, but tell me he's like below this type of player.
He's better than Martinelli. He's better than Martinelly.
Okay. Well, you know
he's
that.
Better than Madueke.
He's better than Madueke. Okay.
I don't even want to say clear.
The two you just named, I think all three of them are about the same.
Okay.
I'm telling you this because you don't know what Chelsea.
Hang on, guys. Let's get the list. So Madueke and Martinelli. Who else is he better than in the Prem?
Okay.
No, he clearly reached him high, so I just want an estimate where he is.
Come on, bro.
No, let him land.
I just want you to tell me, like, I put him on the level was this guy and that guy. Like, just get there.
Staffy, we want the list. I want the list. I want the names.
Yeah,
come on.
So
for me,
and Martinelli.
I think he's a level below your Brennan Johnsons. I think he's on par with your who's the lad that just went Newcastle?
Elanga.
I think he's a level below.
Elanga's better than him.
Below. Yeah, but I'm saying I think he's had more first team experience. So
is he better than
that's the case.
No
way is he better.
Everyone just let Quest talk, please. Let him just talk, please.
Because by the way, if I'm way off, they're gonna let me know. Yeah, Kudus is clear. So let me just mention some players that are clear. Kudus clear. Ahmad clear. Pedro Neto clear. But I don't expect him to be there. So these are just some of the names that I'm like, okay, I don't expect him to be there, but do I think he can get there? Yeah.
After all that cooking, this is where you put him at.
Yes, because half of the issue is environment. If you don't understand that, you don't understand football.
No,
years ago, when Chelsea were buying players like Torres and all these other people were saying Chelsea's the place to go where players die. This is what happens.
Questy. I agree with you. Environment is key. We've seen there's many examples of players going to another environment and doing well.
Yeah, go on.
But the talent has to already be there. With Garnacho, I don't know. I just don't think it's there. Can he get better?
So can I ask you this question as a rebuttal?
Go on.
What is it that you see about Garnacho's play that makes him a bad footballer?
His IQ off the jump.
Break that down for me.
Say that again.
Break that down for me. What you mean by football IQ?
I said it earlier. When he goes 1-on-1, like he never, even the type of finish, he never like chooses the correct type of finish. There's times where he should pass and he shoots. There's times he should shoot and he pass. I just feel like he makes the wrong decisions 9 times out of 10, there'll be the odd decision where even his bicycle kick against, was it Everton, Staffy and Terry, that wasn't really even the right thing to do. But this ties into what you said earlier, because his arrogance and he has that audaciousness about him where he will try things like that, but it will come off once out of like 50. United fans will tell you this themselves. Like, he'll keep trying things that he's not capable of. So for me, his IQ is his main flaw. Is he direct? Yes. But like Will said earlier, you can be direct, but if you're direct and ineffective, what does it really mean? Do you know what I mean? So,
and maybe I'm just saying that because the PTSD I have is watching players like Werner run the ball off the pitch.
Fair
enough. And Madueke wearing a headband and can't dribble past 2 players.
But he's not much of an upgrade to those players. That's what I'm trying to say.
He's not. But if I'm Chelsea, I'm not buying him to upgrade my squad.
So you just want him to step?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm not.
I
said I'm okay with this deal. I never said
you
I'm
talked about his ceiling being so high,
No,
and now you're saying you're not looking to upgrade.
How high did I say his ceiling was? I said he's never gonna be Ronaldo and Messi, bro. He's never gonna be there.
But that's
But does he have a higher ceiling the way he is now? Undoubtedly.
No, hold on, wait.
No, you said he has a very high ceiling. That was your opening statement. You said he has a very high ceiling.
You said he was special.
Victorian versus Edwardian, bro. Either way, the ceiling's high. He's gonna grow.
Are you okay with spending 50 million?
That's gone right over Staffy's head, isn't it?
I had no idea what you said. I just think
it's houses in England. Some are Edwardian, some are from the Victorian age. The ceilings are different heights. That's what it means. Yeah.
Look. Maybe I made a misturning my words. Do I think he's special as a talent? Like, does he have the capabilities to be something? Absolutely, I do think that. Am I ecstatic about the deal? I'm not ecstatic. I can't lie. I'm not going to be putting out a petition.
If he's a special talent, then why would you not be ecstatic?
Because sometimes it's about business, bro. Sometimes about business.
Yeah,
sometimes you hold on to a player who's 21 for the next 2 to 3 years and then selling him on for 60.
He's going to
That's why I don't care
how
about
much you value him at. How much you want Chelsea to pay for him? Because if that's what the valuation,
if it's my money, monopoly, pink and green,
I know it's not your money, but it's none of our money here. Come on,
no, you just asked me.
Football, and none of these clubs are
my money, bro. I said if it's my money, I would pay 25 to 30 mil.
So how do you feel about spending
for 25 mil, bro?
Wait a minute. So you just gassed him up to then say 25. So he's all this that you said earlier. He's 20, 21 years old. His ceiling is special. And then United should just give him away for peanuts. Because, like, you're kind of contradicting.
I'm not saying they should give him away. I understand why they're selling him completely.
Yeah, but
it doesn't make sense for them as a
million. Okay. So let's say that you're not going to bring in Garnacho to boost your squad. It makes no sense because then you're essentially saying that it's a bad deal already. Because you don't just drop 50 million to just drop 50 million. Your club is doing it because they think he's a decent player that can come in and help them. So my point does stand then, because if the club thinks he's a decent player and he can grow and he does reach that level, then that 50 million will end up being justified. If it doesn't grow, then the age that he is at and the profile of player that he is, he will 100% still be marketable in 2 to 3 years' time to some Spanish, some Italian, whatever team that will come and pick him up for 45. So if I pay 50 now and I lose 5 to 10 in that deal and he helps us win a Carabao, FA, League, whatever we end up winning in the next 3 years, I'm not that sad about that deal if it only cost me 10 mil. That's business. That's how I look at that.
One thing I said is 100% true. Chelsea, if they buy him even at 50 million, they'll probably sell him at 60. The fact they've just got 50 million for a flop like João Felix, who, by the way, João Felix is technically better footballer than Garnacho, but I think Garnacho's in reality is better than him. I think João Felix in the Prem of him was one of the worst footballers I've ever seen for the cost that he was. But listen, I hope you man do it. I hope it's for a little bit more than 30 million. I'm not going to lie, but
I swear João Felix only went for 30 million. Like, where's this 50 million price tag come from?
He went for 48 million.
40, bro.
Do you know what's crazy about this
business,
year? I thought Garnacho to Chelsea was a joke, but when I started to realize credible journalists weren't rubbishing this report, when it was just lingering, I was like, you know what? There's some truth to this. I actually think it happens. That's the funny thing. You're going to get your wish.
I knew it could happen the whole time. I knew it could happen the whole time because Chelsea fans were so angry about it. It was one of them deals. You know, when Mason Mount was linked to United fans, you could tell by our reaction that we all knew. We could all smell that it was going to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you got a mate, you better be going out with your friend. And you know that at any minute now that phone's going to ring or text is going to come in because he's cancelling. That's how, when you know it's coming. And this is what this is like. The Garnacho at the Chelsea deal was felt almost nailed on for me since the beginning. But at least we'll get, hopefully, Ben Jacobs saying it'll be around 45 million. It's not the end of the world. It's better than nothing. Go out there and get Benjamin Sesko. Go out there and get a midfielder, a little goalkeeper, and then our title charge begins. Because I'm just going off one good preseason game, see. So I'm just get what I mean. It's just how we judge things now on the terrace. A few super chats come in here. This says that so long as Garnacho is cheap and doesn't prevent the Xavi deal, we can't flip him. We can flip him. Yeah, but there's no signs that it's either. The reports are all it's going to be both. Xavi, and then it's going to be Garnacho. So Chelsea look like they're going to do bits in the market.
50 million could go get you like a top goalkeeper. Like this is
why. Yeah, but we don't need another. Like, we already got like 10, bro.
Say it again.
So you have to use Sanchez.
10.
Let them
listen,
man. They know
I'll be so real with you. If I have to go out into the world and the market and buy another goalkeeper now, there's only one I'm gonna take, and it's Donnarumma.
He only has a year left on his deal. Go get him.
So I'm not
coming United.
Even the Manion deal, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, but is he that much of an upgrade on Sanchez? I mean, look, Sanchez has his bozo moments. It's easy for you to watch one game or a couple of highlights.
No. Actually, he had a very good end to last season.
Check his statistics. Yeah, check the statistics.
By the way, there's a super chat that's coming here. This is coming from Kojo. Now, not everyone knows this, but Quest is Kojo's brother, right? Yo. And he says here, sometimes you've got to disown your bro, but today ain't one of those days. The ceiling is the sky for Garnacho.
Are you twins?
I love this.
You two look
bro.
I love this.
Man.
I
taught him everything he knows about
Kojo
football.
on socials. You should see Kojo stuff when he dances in the gym. I've never seen anything like it in a positive way. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. If we get him for 30 to 40 million in 2 years, I bet we get 70.
Yo, who do you guys
stream alone?
Yes.
Who do you
He'll
guys
have to perform.
He'll have to perform. Yeah,
if you pay 50 million for Garnacho in 2-3 years, you're getting 40 million for Garnacho.
I agree.
You don't understand football.
Today's stream alone added about 10 million to his evaluation.
Arsenal will probably buy him for about 45 million.
Arsenal come in the back door, 75 mil plus add-ons.
Henry's spot on Arsenal.
What? Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, bro. The guy can go. If Rashford can bag a move to Barcelona after 3 years of poor PR. Mediocre
Rashford in the same
I love Rashford. I love Rashford, but I'm just saying.
But Rashford is clear of Garnacho, though. Garnacho is nowhere near as good as Marcus Rashford is.
I'm not talking about talent. I'm just saying optics. A lot of people would watch Rashford and go, "What does this boy offer? He's got nothing for the club." But look, he's going Barcelona, yeah, and he will do it 10 times over. My point is this: Garnacho at his age can still hold value, and that's more what this deal is about.
Have you been listening? You have. All right, Jim. Thank you. Cheers to Jim. They've been listening. 10 million pounds been added to the deal, bruv. 10 million quid. They've whacked the up. Thank you to Jim.
What a stream, man. What a stream.
You know what? Some dickhead's gonna think I actually speak to Sir Jim. Oh, I knew Terry was a brown envelope. The amoebas are gonna be out.
Terry exposed. You know, I'm gonna clip that part of you saying hello, Sir Jim. Use it for future reference.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, there's Staffy earlier on in the group chat. Oh, I'm gonna cook Terry later because he bantered me.
Here we go again.
For a 6'3" geezer, you are the biggest baby I've ever known in my life. It's unbelievable.
Listen, with shoes, I'm 6'4", so.
All right, 6'4", 6'3". Well, they always say when you add an inch, it means you're compensating. I don't know, but by the way, we've been talking for 48 minutes, and Henry Wright ain't said a fucking word.
I've been listening to the conversation, mate.
But you're getting married soon. Get used to it. Do you know what I mean? Just sitting there, not being able to speak. So you got to do it. Mate, this here. Oh, Giuseppe's here. Hey, Bazan.
Big up. Big up. Big up.
Cheers, mate. And it took you 3 weeks to get here.
Like, computers just like having these weird issues that make no sense, and you have to restart them 3 times.
And you have another issue right now. Your mic is not working.
Your mic ain't connected either. You got a good hairline though. You got a good hairline, so that's good. Spending 25 million on Garnacho. Listen. You're paying more than 25 million. Straight away, I've got to stop the super chat here. When you wouldn't pay that for Big Mike is crazy. Hello. You've got to remember as well, Chelsea Hello. Chelsea, it's the wages for Chelsea more than transfer fees. It's the wages. That's why Donnarumma won't happen. Chelsea are not paying anyone 300 grand a week to play for him. So Donnarumma just is a non-starter for me. Look at McSauce. United players like leaving works out. Yeah, listen, best midfielder in Europe last year. So, you know what I mean? That can't
further prove that we should get more money. I agree.
Best midfielder in Europe.
Sarcasm, my American friend.
Okay, my fault. Sometimes in like the debates, I just can't even tell no more.
Listen, little bro. It's not Jude Bellingham, so I know you just got triggered there. It wasn't going to be Jude anyway, so you can sit this.
I wasn't going to say
bro,
Jude, even though
little bro,
one of the best players in the world, though, of course.
Little bro. Oh wow, you're right with that, Will. You okay with that?
Now you know what? I'll allow it because he's like 6'7".
But the thing is, you're quite tall as well, aren't you, Will? You're quite tall.
Yeah, I'm 6'1".
But you're one of those guys. In your like streaming chat, you look like you're really short. But
you're I thought you like
Will looks small. I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't look as small. I met Will. Will's actually tall. He is 6 feet, so he's pretty tall.
There was a guy that he doesn't come on much anymore. He's got family stuff and that happening. He's a Spurs fan called Alan. Now, for whatever reason, he always looked to me when I looked at him on camera like he'd be really tall. And then he turned up to my studio and he's like 5'1". I was like, oh my god, because him and KJ are like the same height. I was like, oh my days, like it's like two pygmies just there. KJ's at the same height as me, to be fair. I just like winding him up. This here says Garnacho makes no sense. Neto, Esteval. Well, this is what you got to read the news.
Does make sense. Oh my
the news is already stating that Esteval might already go straight out on loan. So you've got, I think, that could happen. Palmer to play on the right. Why do we need a fourth right winger?
He's not a right winger.
Garnacho's not even a right. This is what I mean. People don't even know football.
Educate them.
That's why I met Simmons and Gittins, because that's who you'd be competing with on the
And guess who's not Prem proven? Javi Simmons and Gittins. Who is?
Garnacho.
Don't try to add tax to it. Don't try to add tax to it.
I must say, your PR.
Yeah, don't try to add tax to it.
Bro, listen.
We're not buying because of PR, you know.
Bro, Chelsea, what's the Chelsea fan? What's your name, brother? Can you hear me
Wesley,
now?
bro. Yeah, I can hear you.
Do you think that Garnacho's a guaranteed upgrade on Noni?
I don't think he's a guaranteed upgrade, but I don't think it's a big gap, if I'm being completely honest. Like, as a Chelsea fan, if you've watched Madueke for the last 2 years, I understand the outrage Arsenal fans had. The guy is poor. Like, and that's me being respectful. Like, I'm so angry at Madueke because I actually loved him and wanted him to succeed. But when you see someone adjust their shorts 5 times in a game, bro, it don't make sense, bro. It don't make sense. Cross the ball, make a finish, pass on time. Like, people have really short memories and forgetting that he was beefing Palmer and Jackson over a penalty. It don't make sense, bro. Like,
you know everything you're saying.
Garnacho could never. Garnacho could never. I tell you now, Garnacho could never. If he even picked up the ball, Fernandes would have his hand on the shoulder like a film. Bro, just come away. Just come away. Just back up. It's not going to work because he's going to be around other people his age. Everyone's going to look at him like, you start acting up at training, bro, you're gone. Simple. So it's not happening.
Sip to Blue here agrees. Says, nah, we will rehab him and flip to Arsenal for double. Yeah, be an Arsenal player in 3 years.
Yeah, bro. That's called upholstery. That's what we do. You bring him in looking all tatty, fix him up. Asna, coming on 70 million.
It depends how much he costs. 30 to 35 million, and it's not bad. Either pushes on, or we flip him for profit. Any more than that, then it's a no. My guess, I reckon it's going to be 45 million with some add-ons. Plus,
he's not better than Esteval, by the way.
No, he's not.
Just saying.
You're not buying him to be better than Esteval.
Yeah,
I mean, but then if Esteval go on loan, and then if Garnacho's in that spot, then you might as well have Esteval.
Yeah, he's not on technical.
I'd rather have Kendry Pies.
What I would say,
Garnacho. What are we talking?
What I would say is we haven't seen Esteval, as talented as he looks. We haven't seen him kick a ball over here yet. Because if we rewind 21 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that now, you would never have sat there and you would have put Varane at that time in football above nearly every midfielder in the Premier League. But he came to the Premier League and he looked like Scott McTominay. It did in the Premier League, if not worse. So that's the only thing I would say about Esteval.
No. So Terry, I get that. But what I'm trying to say is the potential of Esteval is better than anything that.
No, I understand. But if he isn't ready yet, if he comes in and Chelsea assess him and they go, do you know what? He is going to need a loan. He's not ready physically. He's not ready for life here yet. Maybe they feel I don't know the kid. I'm just putting out examples. They might go, this kid ain't ready for London life. We've got a feeling that he might get, suckered into things he
and
shouldn't.
Play João Pedro off the left. They have so many options better than having to go to Manchester United.
Stop it, Will. They don't. This is the best option on the market for Chelsea. Why?
Chill.
Terry,
chill.
Quest, I'm on your side, bro. Let's get this done.
Chill.
We want more freedom at United. More freedom for the five. More freedom for the five.
Is disgusting on this channel. I can't lie. Everyone here should be ashamed of themselves.
Nice.
You're selling a good player and can't actually be objective on a panel and say that one of the best performing left wingers over the last 2 seasons is a good
You
signing.
did too much. You did too much.
Honestly, be embarrassed of yourselves. Be embarrassed of yourself.
One of the best graduates in the last 2 decades from the most famous football academy in the world. Like we just can't be attacking this. It's heritage. It is heritage.
Wait, but can I genuinely ask, why do Man United fans, why they actually hate him so much?
Have you watched it for Man United?
No, I hear you, but I've watched Timo Werner at Chelsea, and I'm thinking he can't be that bad. Like I saw Timo Werner bounce the ball off his shin pads.
What it is with him, some people don't like him as a player. The problem is with all of us as United fans, our team's been so bad. We'll probably find if we become a better team this year and we've become happy, we'll probably see him doing well elsewhere and be like, oh Garnacho. Oh, hello, mate. We're just so angry at our club. Like, that's why me and Staffy are fighting. We're not like me and Staffy. We're not really, you get those couples, they have a tragedy happen in their life, like their dog dies and then they end up breaking up. They don't not love each other. It's just a case of that there's something that's tragic in their life and it makes them pull apart. That's me and Staffy in a completely friendly way. Although in the group chat, he does keep mentioning my ass in the group chat. It's a bit weird. He keeps on mentioning it, doesn't he?
I just said I'm going to saute your ass. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that?
He must mention my bum twice a month in that group chat. I'm telling you, I know. Oh, massive pause. He's a big lad. Anyway, let's move on. I want to speak about Arsenal. We're going to go back to Arsenal now because a bit of breaking news in the last little while that we've been talking. It goes back into our conversation about transfers. It is about Eze, but interesting update from Sammy Muckbell. Let me read this to you now. It says that Crystal Palace forward Eze's £68 million release clause expires 14 days before the start of the season. So that's tomorrow. He says from then, interested parties must enter into negotiations. From yesterday, how Eze's he's just like, so you can't just pay 68 million anymore. You've got to enter into negotiations. The feeling is they were willing to do on the release clause installments, but wanted 30 million pounds, so almost half of it up front, which is a lot more than most clubs pay in the first year for any transfer they buy. The feeling is now that Arsenal might be able to negotiate better terms, and that's why they've been waiting. Liverpool are famous for this. They pay about £3.65 a week by Klarna for their deals, and everyone praises it. But Eze to Arsenal really does feel like it's going to happen, Giuseppe. But after watching today and pre-season and a lot of the creativity being condemned, how important now is this deal that you bring in Eze and you add that extra piece of creativity, goals, output to your front line?
Listen, we need something else. I'm not gonna go too over the top. It's pre-season. Like I've said that I don't look at pre-season. I've seen my team batter teams pre-season, go into the league and do crap. I've seen my team do crap pre-season, go into the league, running riot and smashing teams. That's not the be all end all. But I do know we need something else. If Eze's the guy, I like Eze. For me, I'm actually on the realm of maybe Eze isn't the right option because I love Eze as a player, but I think the guy that we have to get needs to be the best in the left wing position. And I think Eze is more of the 10. That's his better position. He can play left wing, but I would rather go for an out-and-out left winger.
So Rodrigo, basically.
I would definitely go Rodrigo over Eze, and not because I prefer Rodrigo, because they're both great players and Eze's proven, but I just think that number 10 position, I know a lot of people reckon that it's Odegaard and that, but I really think when Yeri's going to get a lot of time there this season, and he's the future. So listen, Eze will be a great shout, and I won't be complaining if we bring him in, but I'm not sure on that. If we can get him on a good deal, then yeah, of course. But everyone's saying Eze or no one. I just feel like Eze is great, but if we get a Rodrigo or a top left winger, then that's fine. We need some creativity. the game today, like I didn't get to watch it all properly because I was at work. But
It's a good thing you didn't watch it. You didn't miss
yeah, well, I'm happy. I'm happy I didn't watch it. But like, listen, it's pre-season.
Look at Henry smile as soon as you said that.
Like I even looked at our lineup, and like, I know what people are saying about the Norgard Rice stuff, but like Zubimendi is going to be playing most of our matches next season unless he gets injured. Fingers crossed he don't. But I just feel like I look at them games and I feel like sometimes players ain't giving 100%. It's not the same intensity. I want to wait and see when the season starts because we need to go guns blazing from the first game. Because I will be on Arsenal from the first game of the season. We need to beat Man United at Old Trafford, right?
Do you know what I think it is as well? Thomas Frank put out a very physical midfield, like 3 powerful runners in Bentancur, Bergvall, and Sarr. And as soon as I saw Norgard, Odegaard, and the other, I can't remember the other midfielder, I just thought there's not enough legs in there. Without Thomas Partey in there, there's not enough legs. Like we didn't even start with a creative player. We had no Maddison. We had obviously Kulusevski's just had his hamstring surgery. We didn't really have a wide player that is a goal threat. Kudus cut back and did a lot of his work. But I looked at it and just thought, you need to bring in a creative player who's got legs, and I think that's what Eze is.
Do you know? Do you know what the thing is though with that game today?
The block you face today is what you struggled last year against Fulham, against Brighton, against West Ham. That's what cost you the season. Your record against the top 6 was unbelievable. But the difference between you and Liverpool is Liverpool put those low blocks to the sword and you didn't. And you don't. As great as Wanyeri and Max Dowman looks some hell of a fucking talent, you need someone else in there who's got Premier experience. And Eze for me would be a fantastic option. If you can get him I don't think there's 68 million release clause. I think you'll get him at less than that. Maybe the 50, 55 million mark. You need more creativity because Gyokeres, I mean, look, he had a 13-minute, part of the game. Anyone coming out and calling him, I see Glock 2, Glockaku, all this absolute madness.
Why am I on the screen?
Sorry, my finger slipped. Sorry.
What did he say? He said Glock 14 and
I saw Glockaku. I saw Glock Muir.
I didn't say none of that.
I just called him Glock 14. Main attribute isn't heading the ball. Like we took off both our centre backs and brought on Davies and Danso because we knew all Arsenal were going to do is put crosses in, and that's not Gyokeres' game. Like, and every time you got the ball on the edge of the box, I'm thinking, who's going to pick the lock? Who's the creative spark? You haven't got any player in your team who likes to shoot from distance. Like Declan Rice might bag your free kick, but no one thinks.
Do you know what, though, Henry? The irony about what you just said. One thing Odegaard actually did today. I only watched the first half, but one thing Odegaard actually did today that Arsenal fans have been screaming out for him to do, he was actually shooting. That he actually was. And this is a question I wanted to ask you, Giuseppe, and even the panel. Do you not think Odegaard will have the same season last season and you have it this season? Because I feel like we're too quick to write off players. I got the same energy for Phil Foden. I feel like Messi and Ronaldo have this thing where they've been phenomenal for 10 to 15 years, it's like it's not normal for a player to have one bad season. Once upon a time, this happened with regularity. Players can have one bad season. I feel like if the likes of Odegaard and Foden have another bad season, then it's a conversation. But the way everyone's just writing off Odegaard, acting like he's going to have the same season this season as he had last season, I don't know. I think it's a bit harsh. I think we have to wait and see.
Bro, 100% we have to wait and see. Everyone just wants to write off players now. It's just this hate culture that there is now. Because at the end of the day, he went from having a phenomenal season to a bad season. And a bad season, not to make excuses for him, but there was circumstances in that, right? There was multiple things that you can look at last season and say he got the bad injury to his ankle. And he was obviously playing a lot of the season with his ankle still not 100%. He had a baby. Like, I know that's not, maybe people might not think that's an excuse, but if you've had a child, you'll realize that can not, if you're already not confident, you got injured, whatever, you have a child, it's a lot going on in your life. Personal life can come into it. A lot of the Phil Foden stuff people say was personal life. We all want to say that.
Brother, none of this has to do with this child, bro. Just look at your manager again, please.
But no, because
frustrated.
no,
You wanna talk about anything different.
you want to
I
say
get
that,
so
you want to say
tired,
all
bro.
this stuff.
Hey, Giuseppe, have it, man.
Because he's cooked under the same manager. What are we talking about here? He cooked two.
Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I've heard multiple Arsenal fans on this channel where they explain the regression of how you've been playing over the last few years. Last year was the worst of all years. You've generally went from the most attacking team to regressing every year until you became just a boring defensive team that lacks ideas last season.
I don't think it was the worst.
No. Hold on, bro. One
Yeah,
second.
I don't
Because
think
that's
so.
lies. Because you're lying. Because we
What am I lying about? You didn't regress?
Because we regressed last season, but not the season
Okay.
before. The season before wasn't a regression from the season before that. We went.
Did
from
you
January?
switch
No,
the
hold on.
style
We
of
went
player
from
now?
January. We went from January to the end of the season, only losing and drawing one game, and we're smoking teams 5-6 nils. We were smoking teams last season. Yes, we had a bad season once again. Same way writing off a player. Everyone wants to write off a team. Like they can't have one bad
I'm
season.
not writing him off, by the way. I defend him of all people.
Yeah, I'm not
I
saying
actually
you,
defend
but
him
I'm
a
saying
lot.
in general.
It's
The
just
fact
that
of the matter
manager
is,
who
we
gets
do
away
need-
with murder.
We
We talk about having kids.
Nah,
we
getting away
talk
with
about
murder is
injuries.
crazy.
We talk about everything off the pitch, and we just never talk about this manager. The guy puts him in the midfield. He's clearly not a 10. I don't know why people still think he's a 10.
Wait,
he has
who? Odegaard?
capabilities of a 10, but he's not a 10. The
Who,
guy
Odegaard?
spends more time. One second, just let me finish and argue me. The guy
I'm just
spends
asking
more
who you're
time.
talking about.
Oh, Odegaard, my bad. I didn't hear. I just knew you were saying something.
Odegaard's definitely a 10, by the way, but continue.
Okay, I'll explain to you why he's not a 10. Odegaard is not a 10. He clearly spends more time on the pitch protecting the ball, maintaining possession. More times than not, he wants to make the safe pass than to be a risk taker. This is why when one time, I think Rums last season compared him to Bruno, I called out the hypocrisy in the Arsenal fan base. Because all these people will always say that Odegaard is better than Bruno, yet when you tweeted that, everyone starts saying Bruno's better than him, yet no one will take Bruno in their team. Because you know what Bruno does? Bruno always takes the risk before he makes the safe pass. Odegaard is the opposite. Both of them are labeled as 10s. When you have someone like that, it is clear as days that Odegaard needs a little bit more technical people with him on the pitch, especially someone with a little bit more creative mind. If you allow him to play that 8 role, where he can play a little bit deeper, yet he can still do things in the final third, because I think he still has a decent shot on him. He has, he usually, I'll give you 1 or 2 killer passes a game, whether it pulls off or not. If you give him someone who's a little bit more of a risk taker, rather than give him a Norgard or a Rice who barely want to be on the ball, and he has to carry the heavy load of actually maintaining possession, yet you also want him to create for you during the game where no one in the midfield helps you, you end up in a situation where you call out him before you call out all the other players. The fact that he gets called out while Rice is walking on the pitch today, making 5 attempted passes in 50 minutes, 5 passes for an 8. He's an 8 and Odegaard's an 8, but one gets called out and one doesn't get called out.
Staffy, but we have, I'm not going to lie, you guys all want to jump on it so early. We are addressing that issue. Zubimendi addresses this issue, yeah?
No, I talked about having a 10. I just said he's not a 10.
No.
He's a creative player on the pitch.
If you watched Odegaard against Newcastle, yeah, Odegaard cooked against Newcastle because he had Zubimendi on the pitch with him. He didn't have Zubimendi today. Zubimendi didn't play because we played Norgard.
That's not what I addressed. You're
no,
missing
but
my
it's
point,
a point.
Giuseppe.
It's an important point.
But what I'm trying to say is, going into this season,
one second.
This is why you can't fight on every
You're not
preseason
addressing what I
game.
said. Just please. Zubimendi helps you in the first third, all right? I agree with you. That was what Zubimendi's here for, to replace what Partey was doing. I agree with you. Playing with Zubimendi is going to help him a lot more than playing with Norgard and Rice. That is fine. I'm talking about the final third. That's where he gets most criticism. You want someone who wants to just keep the ball moving, who's a high-volume passer, who's not necessarily the biggest risk taker. By the way, if you don't agree with me, that one video of KDB where he put Bruno over Odegaard, you know why he put Bruno over Odegaard? He said, because my preference is a midfielder who takes more risks, and that's why he put him over him. So Odegaard by nature doesn't really play that way. If you give forget a 10. You don't even have a creative outlet on the left. All your creativity comes from him and Saka on that side. When that shit is shut down, you got nothing else to do. So you're always going to look at him and say, what else are you giving me? Yes. All fine to get Zubimendi, but where else are you creating on the pitch if it's not from Odegaard and Saka?
But here's the thing, right? So we're addressing these issues. This is what I'm saying. This is why everyone shouldn't be biting on us. bloody pre-season before we've got all our signings in and everyone's embedded in the team. Because the creativity, we're going to have Gyokeres, which is going to be
we only had one signing today with a new manager.
You didn't attack. You just set everyone back.
I mean, we didn't attack. We hit the post twice. The ball cleared off the line.
Henry, I'll come back to you in a minute. But yeah, you've only got one new signing, but that's not the point for Arsenal, is it?
New manager.
But what's that got to do with anything?
Well, the idea is because Arsenal haven't got the new signings in, they can't play the right way.
No. If you're going to sit there and say they haven't changed anything from last year yet, well, it's in terms of creativity. Well, it's a moot point to say that you're a new manager and a sort of new side if they haven't added those new players in yet either, because they're the same side. They can't improve the creativity without the bodies, can they?
No, but with the players they've got on the pitch, they should still be creating more. We didn't have a.
We know they can't. That's the one thing I agree with Staffy. Like, we know they can't. We can't. Listen. There's certain things you can coach. You can't coach people to be Bruno Fernandes. I disagree, by the way, with your point, Staffy. I actually do think most clubs would take Bruno Fernandes. They just say they wouldn't because they don't like him because he's a United player.
No, but that's what I said. Arsenal fans were saying they wouldn't take him.
If it was announced today, if we got, oh my God, biggest Ornstein bomber, Arsenal launches £80 million bid for Bruno Fernandes and he's agreed to go, Arsenal fans would get their wank sock out and they'd be like, bang, bang, bang all night. They would. 100. Every single person here for their team, maybe not now Liverpool with Wirtz, right? But every single person here would go, oh, my club signing Bruno. They'd love it. But equally,
not me.
I get Spurs. Oh, listen, you guys need a central creator like that, a proper one.
Not Fernandes.
Not a Jude Bellingham who just runs around.
Nah. Bellingham sleepwalks into all of your teams.
You don't.
Not mine anymore.
You guys
he don't even get Chelsea.
Who in Liverpool's midfield is better than
Kyle Palmer?
Not Florian Wirtz.
Chelsea with Kyle Palmer, I get why. But the rest of you, man, Chelsea and Liverpool aside, the rest of you, man, you'd love him. But the thing is, I can buy everything people are saying about Arsenal, and I think there's a lot of credibility. They need more creativity. Eze's that guy. What will Madueke do? We will have a look. I do agree with you, Giuseppe, that I think Gyokeres holding the ball up, doing a much better job holding the ball up than Kai Havertz does, is going to bring others into the game, and it's part of that creativity. But none of these guys are in or playing yet. So it's the only thing I would say. I can't judge the new signings until they're in and playing, right? Yeah. And these new signings, what everyone's saying they need, you can criticize the speed. You can criticize they should have had them 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can buy all of that, but we can't criticize the actions for improving the creativity until we've seen it in action, right? Surely that's fair.
And not 100%. And not only that, even like when we were saying about the low block and Arsenal, that's a struggle for Arsenal. Well, while I don't rate the signing and I didn't want Madueke is actually going to be one of the players in our team that's probably going to be one of the better solutions for a low block in the sense of being direct. Yeah. I don't get this brother's saying that, but then he wants Garnacho, so it don't really make sense.
Garnacho's not starting. Garnacho's not starting, bro.
But he's not starting either. But
listen, don't let my dissatisfaction hurt you.
Hold on, bro.
You go.
I weren't sitting there saying he's starting. I'm saying in a game where there's a low block and it's 60, 70th minute and we're not breaking him down as much, you can bring him off the bench, stuff like that. We need Eze.
We see him in a week in a low block, by the way.
Listen, I just thinking, to be honest, bro, I think he's going to be better in this team than people make out. I didn't want to sign him, but I'm going to back it anyway, and we're going to wait and see. But everyone just writing him off. It's cool. Just write all our players off.
Terry special.
But once again, yeah.
What will he do? Listen, I was typing an email.
I agree with the signing, but he's going to back it anyways. That's the Terry special.
Hang on. Sorry.
Oh, what's
Sorry, Giuseppe. I will come back to you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's not a trigger point. You mean just like the voice note you sent me the other day saying you don't think Sesko will work, but you'll back it anyway?
Wait, hold on. That's completely different than saying I don't want something to happen. You don't want a signing. It's different than you think, all right, I don't think it's the best option. I don't hate Sesko.
No, you said Sesko will flop. But who wants a flop? Who wants a flop?
Okay. You're leaving everything out to make me look bad. I said Sesko will flop because of the club, which is why I don't want that signing.
Why would you want a flop? No one wants to buy a flop.
Because I don't trust the club. It doesn't mean I think the player is shit. We're talking about when you don't want to play.
It's the same thing. You still think it's going to foul, and you're going to support it objectively. Come
I want
on,
Sesko. No, hold on. I want Sesko if we're in better circumstances. I don't have an issue with Sesko. I have an issue with Sesko coming into our certain circumstances.
Okay.
That is different than Giuseppe saying,
isn't.
I don't want Madueke. Giuseppe just doesn't want Madueke in general because he doesn't rate him.
We're arguing. It's not the difference. If you think a player's crap,
different.
no, I tell you why it's not. If you think a player's crap, or you think the club's crap and the player will flop, the end result is you don't think that signing is going to work. In an ideal world, if right now, because you don't think Sesko is going to work, you'd spend the money elsewhere, right?
Yeah, but there's a good chance it works because we could develop him. I don't think it's
it could work now. Okay, well, that's different to saying you think he'll flop. Okay.
No,
well, we've got to the bottom of it.
In terms of
different now.
we're going
Top six
after,
couples
it's
therapy,
not an
bro.
issue. We're going after a decent talent. Hold on. We're going after a decent
pure
talent,
gold.
but
I
we
love
have a track history of failing a lot of young talent over the last few years that I think there's a high risk that it's going to fail. It's not Sesko's fault because I equally thought that Sesko should have went to Arsenal. If I said he should go to Arsenal, it means I rate him as a talent. That is different than saying, I don't want Madueke, but I'm going to back him anyways. You don't want him because you think he's shit.
So Staffy, now that you've applied more context, I can see the difference, but that isn't what you said to me on other streams and now.
Don't play it.
No, you said he's going to flop. Now, you said he's going to flop. You said, Staffy, that he's going to flop, right? Now you're saying he might not flop and we might actually develop him. So if you said I was 50-50, if you said I'm 50-50, he might flop, he might be fantastic. I'm just going to get behind the signing anyway. I wouldn't call it the same. But when you say I don't want him because I think he's going to flop, that to me is, it doesn't matter whether you like the player, hate the player. No one wants to buy a flop for their team, but you get behind it anyways. I do think there's a difference.
He's not a flop. We would make him flop. That is the
same
difference.
thing. It's the same thing.
You can buy. I didn't want Mount because I thought Mount was shit. And we got him, and I was like, I don't need to back this because I know it won't work out. Can I ask you a question, right? Mount flopping and Alexis Sanchez flopping, right? For Man United, what's the fucking difference? You can look at both signings and say one of them, you were actually signing a player who, if you asked most of the league at that time, would you take Alexis Sanchez? I'd say everyone bar City at that time would have said yes.
Okay.
That is different than going for Mount.
That I understand. I understand that, but my point is the end result for Man United. What's the difference?
Because I don't know the end result. But if the move is ambitious and it doesn't work,
the end result.
it's different than going for a shit move.
End result. We know the end result of Mount and Alexis Sanchez.
No, I'm talking about like in Sesko. I don't know the end result yet.
Yeah, but we've also all seen our club sign players that we don't rate and it go well as well. We don't know the end result of that either.
Yeah, sure, that's applicable. But there's a difference. You back a signing that you think is ambitious. Henry right now, he's probably backing the Kudus signing because he thinks it's ambitious. They're signing one of the best wingers. If he flops, I'm not gonna go back at Henry and be like, you idiot, you wanted Kudus. I'm gonna be like, you know what, bro? Bad luck. You signed a decent player who just didn't work. But if you go for a shit player who you don't rate,
same with Garnacho.
So at the end of the day, and I'm going to go back. And I'm going to go back to. I'm going to go back to Giuseppe now. But at the end of the day, we both agree with each other. Sometimes you want a signing, sometimes you don't. But you always want them to work out, objectively supporting. Giuseppe.
Sometimes they be good. Yes. Sometimes they be shit.
Why anyone that supports their team and like these guys, someone will come in right and. You got to support the player before they kick the ball. Like you got to give them a chance, brother. Like you can't let anyone go in life. This ain't even just football in life. Yeah. If I'm managing people and a new person comes in and I see him and I think I don't think this guy's going to be good at his job. I'm not going to just write him off. I'm not just going to not let this guy prove me wrong. I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not helping you at all. If you ask me for help, I'm ignoring you. I want you out of the company because that's wrong. You got to give someone a chance. Why would I not back him? You're obviously hurting Staffy because of how shit Man United's been, so you're not going to back anything.
Oh my God, you hit me where it hurt the most, United. Yeah. Oh my God. I see more leagues than you, than your bitch ass won 20 years ago.
What's that got to do with anything?
I've been one in like 11 years.
What's that got to do with
sit down,
anything?
bro. Pipe down. Know where you are.
What's that got to do with anything?
Enjoy your title reign with Madueke, bro. Keep licking Chelsea's boots, bro. That's what you are.
Regardless, yeah. Anyway. Everyone, back to my point of signings, everyone wants to bite on Arsenal because apparently today preseason now matters. I was hearing so much talk about when Liverpool lost, preseason didn't matter, all this stuff. Second Arsenal lose a game, yeah, after we beat Newcastle and we beat AC Milan, yeah. Now all of a sudden preseason really matters. None of our signings played, but apparently we got to judge the way Arsenal played today, and that's the way the season's going to start.
I do think it matters.
Listen, preseason does not matter. because I have seen my team. Seen Yaya Sanogo score hat tricks pre-season.
Do you know what, Giuseppe? Giuseppe, to back up your point, I've seen my team win one pre-season game and go on to win the league. So I'm with you, bro. Pre-season doesn't matter.
But listen, it's like we talked about earlier, though. The results don't matter in preseason, but
the way you play,
the players matter.
That being said, I still don't think it's an exact science, because that year where Liverpool only won one game, they were also trash. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
We went on to win the league.
Yeah, you pre-season, you weren't good. Like pre-season, you weren't good.
Yeah, we weren't good.
It wasn't like they were playing brilliantly and losing. It was like this Liverpool team could be in trouble.
But that's not an anomaly, though. Like, wouldn't you say? Like doesn't generally?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I don't.
But just performing well during preseason.
I don't know. I honestly, I like preseason. I enjoy it now because a lot of this also what used to never happen until about 5-6 years ago. None of us ever got anywhere near playing each other. All Man United would do on tour is play Kaiser Chiefs and Broca Juniors. And when you went to America, this is what happened for 10 years going to America. You played Boston, you played New York, you played LA, and then you played the local
teams, and then
the
All-Star team.
LMA All-Star team. That was it. So now I think why people take it a bit more seriously now is because we're all playing each other. Yeah. You get North London derbies, Man United, Man United Liverpool derbies. You get, I swear El Clasico's happened on pre-season as well recently.
Arsenal fans want to sign petitions for players. How about if we Arsenal fan signs a petition to never do a North London derby? It's like friendly match ever again, because that's a disgrace.
Why is that? Whoa, wait, what?
Playing North London derby as a friendly match is a disgrace, in my opinion.
Yeah, but England fans are not the only fans in the world.
Yeah, it was a disgrace then.
Is that because you lost it, though, Giuseppe? Is that because you lost it?
No,
because you lost it, bro.
Actually, but just
why am I having a friendly?
He's cooking.
Why am I having a friendly against?
It's not a friendly. It's a pre-season game.
Yeah, we're meant to hate each other. The players on the pitch are not meant to really like each other when they play each other. Why am I playing in a friendly?
So guess what? Don't lose.
You said pre-season doesn't matter. Why the fuck do you care then?
Hold on. But you got. What do you mean pre-season? Pre-season doesn't matter.
Pre-season doesn't matter. You're so upset in a pre-season game. You played it right.
This is pride. This is nothing about the preseason.
Why is there pride when it's preseason?
I see power. I see a bad.
me going down. Me sitting on a park bench.
I'm gonna watch that later. Now I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Me sitting on a park bench for lunch doesn't matter. Yeah, I can go wherever. Sit on the park. I ain't gonna sit on a park bench with someone I hate and have lunch with them. Yeah,
that's not the same as a preseason game.
No, it is. We're having a friendly.
You don't care about preseason.
Yes, no, wait, but Giuseppe is not wrong though, because why are you guys doing Premier League matchups like Staffy at midnight was having to sit there to watch Manchester United versus Bournemouth? My man stayed up at midnight to watch a bottom
4-1, my G.
But it's like, why not go match up against
league?
Like other
times
like that you don't really
get about a Premier League summer series.
Listen, we have to stop saying preseason doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, right? Yes, the result is not a huge deal, but we would also change our tune if we saw our team lose 10. So we know that there's a degree that you can lose that it becomes serious. And I actually think the reason why Arsenal fans are a little bit chinged by this loss is because actually they're getting ready to have one of their biggest seasons of the last 5-6 years. This season is do or die. And part of that loss, what would worry me is actually Henry has a good point. You've got Tottenham now, yeah, with confidence, talking at Arsenal, saying, where are you at? You had this person on the pitch, this person on the pitch, and actually making a good point about your creativity. At the start, you said, Giuseppe, yeah, what was it, 2 seasons ago, you were bopping teams 5-6-0 every week. So creativity was there. Creativity's not gone, but something is not clicking now. I would actually say what's more worrying to me is now you've gone and got the final piece of the puzzle. And yet today, I know it's 10-15 minutes, I hear it, but it looked off. So that, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be worrying. I would be going, hold on a minute, no. I hear we're not bothered about trying to be the best team in preseason. But actually, yes, if I meet my ops in preseason, you're holding smoke regardless. So if I go out there to wherever we are, Asia, Africa, whatever, and I buck you lot and we lose 1-0 to Tottenham, I'm kicking off. Are you mad? You better run back all my fees for the stream, for the flights, everything.
No, just everyone said that because he doesn't care for preseason, so why would he?
everyone getting on to Gyokeres makes no sense. The guy's been signed to the club.
It's not
for
just
2
Gyokeres, bro.
days.
I don't even blame Gyokeres.
Yeah.
It's Arteta.
No, but once again, you said like he don't matter. He played 10 minutes. Brother, this guy was never going to do nothing in 10 minutes when he's just signed 2 days ago. He's had like one training session with
That's
the
a
boys.
poor mentality for me.
Why?
Because I've seen João Pedro come on for 5.5 seconds and he
I've
has
got
He had 3 goals in 2 games.
Are you
You know,
I've
people
got-
the beaches of Brazil, bro.
I've seen
And he
Kudus
back
run
too
off
in-
the
in-
pitch
in
and
his
keep
first
the ball
game.
like Gareth Bale, bro. 10 minutes or
Pressy.
5 minutes, bro.
Pressy, I've got to disagree with what you said because you said, we got to stop acting like preseason games don't matter. And I think we'll hit the nail on the head. I think the result doesn't matter, but I feel like patterns of play and how your manager's going to set his team out does. But the reason why I disagree with what you said, your team could lose 10 in a row and you wouldn't care. I genuinely wouldn't care.
10-0.
Oh, sorry. All right, cool. But let's say even if it was 5 games in a row, yeah. As long as I win that opening game of the season, I genuinely don't care. Honestly,
How would you feel?
For example, here's the prime example.
If we lost every game and then bopped Man United 3-0 at Old Trafford,
You
first
wouldn't
game of
care.
the season,
It's like
anyone
it's
has forgot.
It's like
Yeah, but
That's so short-term thinking.
I'll give you a prime example.
You can beat us playing bad. It has nothing to do with that. What he's explaining is preseason is for ideas. If you don't take that time to implement new ideas, whatever you want to do in the next season, that is your chance to do it. You can go and beat us in the first game of the season. Doesn't mean you're going to win the league. Your ambition this season is to win the league. You want to compete with Liverpool. While you're out there, Liverpool has to do the same thing, by the way, because they're getting all these signings and need to gel. So
100%.
they need
So
to
why
use
was
that
there no
time
outrage
to
when
build
Liverpool lost 3-1 to
consistency.
AC Milan? Why was there
Say
not all
that
this
again?
energy? Why was there not all this energy when they
me
lost?
personally,
I
I looked
I'll
at
tell
that.
you right now,
Ooh.
within our fan base, there were fans losing their head. Not me personally, but I'm telling you, there was outrage even from within our
No,
fan
but I'm
base.
talking about
I
Rivals talking about you, man.
We
'Cause I didn't
already
care.
discussed
When
this
I
before you
looked at
jumped on.
when I see you guys lose to AC Milan, I didn't start thinking, oh yeah, Liverpool lost to AC Milan. I couldn't give a shit. That don't mean nothing to me. You lost to AC
Wait,
Milan.
Was the AC Milan loss on penalties or was it?
No, they lost.
Outright.
Oh, okay, because I thought I saw there was a penalties one.
Well, they
That's
played
why I
like
that
was
was
like,
us.
18-year-old
That was
in
us.
left back.
oh, that was
They
you.
played Robertson
Oh.
in centre back. And fucking Van Dijk
You're
played 45
on mute,
minutes.
Terry.
You want
I
to
know
compare
what you
this
said,
game
though,
to
but you're
that
on
game?
mute.
Sure, go ahead.
Right, okay, but hold on. Then for that same logic, we didn't play
Yeah.
Zubimendi, we played Norgard. Gabriel hasn't played one game for us pre-season, and he's a key pivotal defender for us. Timber
Valid.
hasn't played.
Valid.
He's key
Yeah,
for
but the
us.
only thing I complained
Yeah.
about, okay, the only thing I
Zubimendi,
complained
the game
about,
Zubimendi actually played against Newcastle, we played
Yeah.
really good. We played a lot better. Yeah. And we left wing, we know is a position that needs fixing, and we're
Sure.
addressing that. And that hasn't come in yet, and it will come in. So all this stuff you're saying backs us still because you haven't seen us. If we had got all our signings, we had Eze playing, we had Zubimendi playing today from the start. We had Gyokeres, he'd been in and he played the preseason game already, and he started in that. And we had Gabriel and we had Timber and all these guys in, and we still played like that. Then I could sit there and go, oh God, what I've got to worry now. But when half our team is mixed matched as well, like you just said with Liverpool, why am I worrying? These guys know what they got to do when the season starts. I have no fear in Arsenal starting this season poor. I think that people thinking, and I'll stick to this. We'll see. I'll talk after the first game of the season when we play Man United, and I'm not just talking about a result because, like you said, we can play crap and play you. But I want to see the performance, and if the performance is good against you, and we get the 3 points against you at Old Trafford, yeah, then I do not give a crap what any result was pre-season. I'll be
Giuseppe,
honest.
how do you feel if you lose first game? What if you go there? What if you go there and Sesko and Mbeumo make you hold 5?
Well, bro, of course I'm going to be pissed. Of course I'm
So
going
then-
to
so
be
then-
pissed.
score in the first game, man.
Can I ask a question though? Because what if it goes the other? What if Arsenal's next 2 preseason games they cook, and everyone goes, "Wow, I can." I want to throw this. This is why I get what everyone's saying, and I don't even think no one on here is 100% wrong. I don't think anyone's 100% right. What if the next 2 games Arsenal Zubimendi starts, Gyokeres is there, they get Eze over the line, everyone's like, "Oh fuck me, this is going to look amazing," and then Man United beat him 2-0 on the opening day of the season. Everyone will then go the opposite way, go, their season's still fucked because Man United have beaten them, even though 4 of their 5 preseason games were really good. I do agree with Staffy. It is a little bit short-term thinking. I just think that there's some teams that have done well in preseason, some that will do bad. And every single year things go, like Newcastle and Villa have been pretty poor in preseason, especially Newcastle. I don't necessarily think there's a guarantee that they're going to. You look at their results; it looks like they're going to finish 15th. Does anyone really think that's going to happen? Probably not. I don't know. I just sort of look at it and sometimes think we read a little bit too much into things. As an example, equally with Spurs. I mean, I know he's gone now. I actually thought they looked really good defensively today. I thought they looked fantastic. But equally, they're playing in a new way, and teams haven't worked them out yet.
And
So
also,
that's not a defense of Arsenal. But if Arsenal also change system and look really good, I know what people would say. Yeah, wait till people work you out, though. Wait till people, if Man United start winning games early this season, I'm already going to tell you what they start saying about us. I already know the pushback. Yeah, but wait till teams start respecting you and they sit back deeper. Because I've been doing this thing 10 years. I know what people are going to say before they say it. And sometimes they're right? Sometimes they guess right. But the response is nearly always the same, irrespective. So if Arsenal were killing it right now and then lost to Man United, people would say preseason meant nothing then because you didn't win that opening game of the season. People want to, I don't know. I find it all just a bit, it's all just a bit polarizing in my opinion.
With the Spurs thing, the Spurs game, right? They've got a new manager. All these guys, all their players are probably really wanting to impress the manager pre-season. I want to be in the starting 11 come the season. They're obviously going to be up for pre-season games a lot more because they've got something more to prove. Whereas I'm not saying it's the right approach from Arsenal players and that, but like Arsenal players, we know what we got to do come the season. We're training in that. When even like someone goes to me, well, you wanted people in before pre-season, before the tour, before all this. Yes, but that's not. I don't give a crap about this guy really playing the pre-season matches that much. I want them to be in training. I want them to be learning. I want them to be understanding my team. Most of the stuff that happens in the training, on the training pitch. Gyokeres being ready for the season is not going to just be in these pre-season matches. Yeah, it's going to be the training pre-season with the team when they've got time to focus. Yeah, it's
so
all part of pre-season. But once again, this is what I'm saying. When someone says, what was the point of Gyokeres coming pre-season? You only played him 10 minutes in this match. That's nothing to do with it. I want him in the training. I want him ready for when the season starts.
Bonding and suffering.
All pre-season is having players ready, for the season. I would not give a crap if Arteta said to Saka, look, you need to improve your right-footed shots, right? So all pre-season, I just want you in games focusing on getting shots away on your right. You're going to see a more tamed Saka, for an example. This is an example. It's not happened, but he's practicing that pre-season, getting more used to doing that in a game, right? So when the season comes, he ain't going to just play like that still. He ain't going to play in a certain way. So there's certain tactics that certain players or certain jobs a player might be doing that might not look like, why is he not doing this? Why is he not doing what he normally does here, there? It's because they may be focusing on something.
I hear that. Look, I'm going to jump to some of these super chats because I want to ask about Sesko. I want to speak about Isak as well on the show. This says that the panel doesn't seem to get what preseason is. Managers experiment and focus on certain instructions, completely ignoring the results. I've seen City and Liverpool losing almost all their preseason games and then go on to dominate. I mean, there is truth about that. And I also think as well, like the subs thing today, a lot of Arsenal fans were saying on my match reaction, subs came too late. And I'm like, see, that's where I can't agree at all. The subs that normally for every manager and coach are prescribed for time on the pitch. And rarely do you see a sub made in pre-season to try and win the game. So there are certain things I won't do. Look, if Vavell and the club wants Sesko, I back him. Big up, Ronnie. I back it anyway because Sesko's going to be a don over here. What worries me more about Arsenal today is fans wanting Leao to replace Martinelli. Leao is literally a worse version than Martinelli. Leao at last had a decent season 3 years ago. Even his teammates have questioned his performances. This is at you, Staffy. This one. This says, Staffy, you look bad. You speak out of both sides of your mouth. Never to be trusted.
Bing bong.
Gunner's Link is never going to trust me again. Oh my God.
This guy's not Randy.
How will I ever live with that?
No.
Please forgive me.
It's going to be so funny if Sesko becomes a hit. Oh, it is, because I can't wait for Staffy to come on and give me my certificates. It's going to be great. This Chelsea fan, by the way, I won't give a shit about that. I'll be celebrating Man United winning.
You wasn't on the baby Zlatan vibe before me. I already
that's why I retweeted all your praise about Sesko. I didn't want you running away from it. I quote tweeted all of it. And then last night you found my thing when we gave Rasmus the number 9 shirt. Yeah, Hoyland, the number 9 shirt, and I said my number 9. Good luck. And then but then I retweeted it last night when he scored. I was like, my
This
number 9
shameless guy retweeted me after Hoyland scored.
I saw it.
That's
He's
not
actually
shameless.
shameless.
That's banter.
I know.
Do you know what you need to do? You've got to leave New York. You've got to come live in England for a year so you learn banter and you get what it's about. You just don't have a sense of humor, you Americans.
I just said you're shameless.
I feel like
I know
there's
what
a
you
barrier.
do.
I feel like we don't understand US sarcasm, and I think the other way, you don't understand British sarcasm. I think it goes hand in hand.
No, I knew it was a joke. I just said he was shameless. And to be fair, I did like it. So there you go.
There you go. And then he wanted to saute my ass. Big up to my fellow world champions in Chelsea. Big up to yourself for the super chat. Look, there's a big report today. And I don't know if I bookmarked it, so I'm probably not going to read it out correctly. Did I bookmark it? If I didn't, then I'm a fool. But it basically said that talks up, I think it was from Plattenberg in relation to Isak, that talks are progressing. We know that the agreement in principle between the player and Liverpool is done. I'm actually going to find now. Here it is. It said talks between Newcastle and Liverpool over Alexander Isak are progressing well. The players' camp are very positive about the situation. Isak is hopeful that an agreement between the clubs can be reached and a record bid will be needed. How confident are you as well? Because there is a lot of with the Sesko talk. There's a lot of like, oh, if Man United get Sesko, it might stop the deal from happening and all of this. You must be supremely confident this goes through, Roms.
100%. I've said all along, by the time it reaches September the 2nd, I think the window closes, Isak will be a Liverpool player. However, where I think we need to be a bit cautious is how quick this deal gets done. I can't see Newcastle accepting a bid because apparently we've put in a bid yesterday from some reports. Again, if you're gonna, I don't know if you don't follow IndyCalia, but this summer he's actually got things right. But apparently we've put in a bid. I just feel Newcastle aren't going to accept it until they get a striker in. I can't see them selling Isak and being left with just Ursula. I think that's their only recognised 9 at the moment alongside Isak. I do think the deal gets done. Apparently personal terms were agreed a couple of days ago. I think even as far as last week. But I think it gets done, Tel. And yeah, I already have us favourites for the league even without him. Once we get him, start etching our name, in my opinion. I know a lot of people saying, a lot of change. Will it work? But I just believe in my manager. And I think if you look at Ekatike and Isak's game, they naturally drift out to the left anyway. So if either or was to start on the left, because I think even to start the season, it will be a Gakpo, probably up until the first international break, because you don't want too many wholesale changes, especially with our first 3 games. It's Bournemouth, Newcastle and Arsenal. So it's quite a tricky first 3 games. But I can just see the signing going through and our manager will make it gel. I feel like it's a rival thing to put pressure on us, to ask questions. Will it work? Too much change could be bad, but we still have that core, of Konate, Alisson, Van Dijk, McAllister, Gravenberch, the midfield that won it, Salah. So I think we'll be fine. But yeah, I think I'm confident of this deal happening. When it happens, I'm not too sure. It could be one that maybe gets stretched late to the window. There could even be a world where our team that goes up against Bournemouth, Isak's not in the squad yet. I feel like it will take time, but he becomes a Liverpool player, in my opinion.
Yeah. Quest, what's your view on this? Do you feel like, is this, how hard are Liverpool going to be to catch? Chelsea are going to want to chase them down, especially with signing Garnacho. Arsenal and City want the title. Like, how hard is it going to be when they pull this deal off?
It's going to be tough. If I'm being really honest, I'll probably agree with Rams in that it's one hand on the title already, because realistically, last season showed that Liverpool are capable of getting it done, even if anybody else can't. So I don't see why them getting Isak would hamper them. It's ironic though, because I do think in some ways, 2 things can be true. Like, I can see Isak completely improving them in terms of like goal scoring, adding more than Nunes. And I can equally sort of see how if it doesn't fit, it then could cause a little bit of friction in the team. But I do think it's one hand on a trophy. I don't think anybody's ready to compete. I think Arsenal naturally are in a bit of a cycle where they have regressed, and I think that's fair to them. I think they've in some ways overachieved. Chelsea are not ready yet. No matter what happens, even if you win 5 Club World Cups, they're not ready. I think City are going to be right back to it, but unfortunately, they're starting again. So really, it's just it's basically your F1. You're ahead. Don't come off the track and don't pick too early. And
Do you know what, Questy? I'm happy you mentioned City because, oh my God, you would think this is just the Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal title race. I feel like people are completely forgetting about them. They still got the best manager in world football. Everyone's like, they've got Mateus Nunes starting right back. There's still 5 weeks left of the window. And if we know Khaldoon, they will rectify that. I feel like they're having a few quiet weeks. I actually feel like they're kind of seeing what Chelsea, what Liverpool, what Arsenal do. City will fork out money and rectify the areas where they need to. I still have them second, personally. I've got Liverpool first, City second, Arsenal third, just because I know what they can do. They still have that muscle memory. They still got the best manager in world football. They didn't just do a 4-peat just to be there or thereabouts this season. And I just think, I'm happy you mentioned them. I think people just writing off City too early, in my opinion. And I still have them as closest challengers to us.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but I still have them second.
Oh, no, 100%. I was going to say it early in the show. For me, forget Arsenal, forget Chelsea, bro. It's Liverpool City this season.
No. It's not a forget. Sorry, I don't want to.
I'm saying forget.
Arsenal.
I'm saying forget. Yeah.
Arsenal will be there, but
I don't think Arsenal will be there.
You don't think they'll be there?
You're saying forget Arsenal?
No, I think that, for me, they're on a natural life cycle. And I can see the chat is losing their head. Take aspirin, it's okay, bro. The first 2 years when they were pushing, it's almost like cycling. If you watch cycling, you have what's called a pace setter. Man City were pace setting for Arsenal, and they were matching that. It's almost like they were like, okay, since they're going, we go. Since they're going there, we go, And they had reasons to do that, The last season just gone with Liverpool, you could see that without City, Arsenal's a bit like, who do we become now? Are we the guys that are the strong shooters, or do we wait to sort of do the counter-attack? For me, they're in a place now where they're actually rebuilding. So if you're rebuilding, you can't be challenging for the title. I know it hurts, Giuseppe. I feel you.
No, I just don't think I don't think you're using any context of last season whatsoever. You're just
right. Sorry, go on. Just give me context. Sorry.
No, but it's just there is context to last season. Yeah. Liverpool were phenomenal last season as well. Like, don't take it away from them. Yeah. We had a lot of
don't say injuries.
Yeah, but we did, bro. Like, let's be real. We had a lot of injuries. This guy wants to get up and dance for Skank. Yeah, when Chelsea are one of the teams that always moan about injuries and that. Yeah. So we did have injuries. That is context. We've added. This ain't a rebuild this year. Why does everyone keep thinking that we're rebuilding?
You're signing 7 players, bro.
Listen, but that's not But we went into last season, and not only that, the last couple seasons, people have addressed issues that they think Arsenal have in their team. Arsenal are now addressing said issues, and we're rebuilding. We're not rebuilding because our back four isn't changing. Yeah, our back four is staying the same, and goalie. Yeah, that's staying the same. Yeah, 2/3 of our midfield is going to be the same, which is replacing Thomas Partey with an upgrade, in my opinion. Yeah. And then we're adding a striker, which everyone's been arguing that we need. And Martinelli, for the last few seasons, everyone's always said is not good enough. And we're rectifying that as well. And we're bringing in a left winger. That's not a rebuild. We're adding squad depth to our team mainly, right?
Well, it's not squad depth. If you said earlier you don't want to.
How many players are we signing to be starting 11 players come the start of the season? Get week in, week out.
Maybe 2 or 3.
I'd say 3.
That's not a rebuild. That's not a rebuild. That's not a rebuild, bro.
If Havertz was your starting striker and you're now buying Gyokeres to be your starting striker, you're rebuilding. If Martinelli's is your starting left winger,
signings for you to say rebuild. I kind of get because I'll be honest.
When you rebuild something, you don't have to rebuild the whole thing from its foundations. Sometimes you just rebuild a part of a wall.
Let me ask you
that. Yeah, we need a centre back in the team. Yeah.
Fez, your defense is solid. I can't argue with that.
Yeah, we've got Rice in the midfield, right? We're adding Zubimendi. So if we didn't have Rice, you could maybe say we're getting 2 midfielders. We need a rebuild. It's more of a rebuild. It's not. You're adding a midfielder. The attack, if you want to say we're restructuring the attack, that's different.
Semantics,
but that's not rebuilding. That's not rebuilding.
Because by that logic, though, can I ask you something? Are Liverpool rebuilding?
Who Liverpool? No, they're not. No, but that's definitely
See,
not.
so this is why. Okay, so this
No,
is
but
why
that's
it was very
that,
important.
no,
for
but
me.
that's clearly not a rebuild because that's adding 2 or 3 more pieces. To
No.
an already
Okay,
functioning
okay.
system.
This is where
When
I
we're talking
think
about
you're
Arsenal,
wrong.
Trossard's not good enough. Jesus is not good enough. Martinelli's not good enough, and
You're
Havertz not
naming
good
bench
enough.
players.
That's 4 of your attacking players, and 3.
But
and
only two of
out
them
those 4
start at
start.
once. Two
No,
of
but
them
can
start.
I?
So you're not
Let me
just
finish my
rebuilding.
Liverpool example though, because I wanted to
Go
bring
on,
a good point here.
Yeah, go on.
Liverpool, because if you use that logic,
Good.
Liverpool
Okay.
are bringing in a new right back. They're bringing in a new left
5
back.
starters.
They
5
brought in a
starters.
10. They're bringing in a striker, and they're bringing in a left winger.
Yeah.
That is 5 starters. Compared to, if you want to compare that to Arsenal, new striker, potentially a new left wing. And
So wait, who's coming in? Who's coming in
Zubimendi.
for Liverpool? Sorry, run that by me again. So
So
Gyokeres,
Zubimendi
I get.
Liverpool had
'cause
5.
Trent's gone. Yeah.
Left
So
back,
Trent,
right back.
so right
Who's-
back, left back,
Left
10,
back
10,
is-
should say. Left
Who's
and
Kirkus?
striker.
But-
Yeah.
Is Robertson not going to start this season then?
No, it's Kirkus.
No. It'll be
Robertson's
Kirkus.
not starting at all.
It'll be back
Okay,
up.
valid,
He's gonna
valid,
start
valid,
over.
valid, valid,
If he
valid.
It'll be
starts him
Kirkus.
over Kirkus, then that's crazy. But
Okay,
the
fair
2
play, fair play.
fullbacks, the 10, the left wing, and the striker. That is 5 starters. The only argument that you can make is that Liverpool are getting significantly better players in those positions. So you can kind of look at it and say, you know what? It is probably a rebuild, but at the same time, they're getting Isak. That's a massive upgrade. They're getting potentially, they're trying to get Rodrigo Wever on the left wing. They got Ekitike as well. Kirk is
I
way
don't know
better
about
than Robertson
Rodrigo
at this
being an
point.
upgrade on Luis Diaz, but I hear what your point is.
But at
Isak's
least 4 of
definitely
the
an upgrade.
positions are solidified. 3 of the 5 positions are guaranteed upgrades. You can't tell me
Frimpong's
Isak,
not an
Wirtz,
upgrade
and
on
Kirkus
Trent,
are not
for me.
upgrades. Arsenal on the other side, they're not changing as much in their starting 11 as you are saying. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to call that one a rebuild, then the Liverpool has to want to be rebuilt.
I
You're
don't,
rebuilding
but
as
I
well.
do
It's
definitely.
Chelsea are rebuilding then as well.
Chelsea,
Yeah,
what?
but
Chelsea
we've
are
had to
rebuilding by
upgrade.
that
We're not-
logic.
I don't know if we're rebuilding as
Nah,
much
they're
as
not
we
rebuilding.
definitely
No,
are.
they're not.
They're
No,
adding
I'm
more
not saying they
pieces.
are.
Yeah, no, we're
I'm
definitely
not saying by the
upgrading.
logic that was used.
They're
I
upgrading. Maybe not significantly, but Chelsea are still upgrading certain positions. Not significantly though, so I wouldn't really call it a rebuild. They still have their core somewhat. You know,
They established their core over the last 2 seasons, and then
Seasons,
now
yeah.
they're adding the complementary pieces.
And let me
Yeah,
do this.
that's
Okay, so
different.
let me do a world first. Yeah, 'cause I know a lot of people. Let me backtrack. Maybe rebuild is the wrong word. It's all right. My bad. Yeah, let me say my bad. But I do still think that Arsenal
can't
are
admit
in a
that you were
worse
wrong
off
on this channel.
position.
It's not about culture.
Yeah, I
No,
do
we
think
don't
they're
do
in a
that
worse
here.
off position than last year. I genuinely do, because I just think also you got to remember, like, signing a striker means your style of play has to change. You've got to
Right.
change your because you've got to change your focus of attack. Look at what happened with City. Like, I know Haaland came in and hit the ground running, but Pep himself was like, the team has to change to play through Haaland. Everything changes, bro. That's why
Arteta wanted to play with Haaland. I personally believe, when I watched Arsenal last year, the amount of time that Havertz would hold up the ball and would boot the ball over to him and he'd hold up the ball, and that Gyokeres can do that for us. I think people I don't think people actually realize what Gyokeres can do. I generally don't. I think he's so misprofiled by a lot of people as the type
I think he's a
of
gunman.
striker
I
he
think
can
he's a
be.
gunman. I think he'll
Yeah.
be good. I just
And
don't
I
think
think that when even how we played last season, how many pretty much every game we dropped points in, people would look at the exact game and said, if Arsenal had a striker in the right positions, we probably would have won the game. Therefore, you put that striker in that same thing in the right positions, and we win the games. I don't think it's as mad as people think it's gonna be. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't think we have to change our style. We will adapt. We'll change ways, and we'll have different ways of playing. I think that's why we're bringing in the likes of Eze as well, and Zubimendi changes the way we play, I think, as well.
Wait, you said you don't think you need to change a lot in the way that you play?
No, I don't. I think we need a different. I think we need to use what we already have, because last season I'm not only using. When I talk about the way we play, I'm not just using last season, because I think there was I think there was sort of circumstances last season as well to the reason we played how we did. Yeah, I think that Arteta started a certain way, which I think he likes to do, which is a bit slower. But then when we had to push on and do what we done the season before, we had the injuries that sort of stopped that, because we didn't have Saka. We lost Havertz in the January. We lost a lot of attackers, so we couldn't even do what he wanted to do. But that's something he might have to address. But I think that the last 2 seasons, if you take how we played, we could use that. But we need to add another string to our boat, another way of playing. If that's not working, we need another way to play. And I think Eze coming in, having Zubamendi, Gyokeres, an actual striker, and that will create that, so we can then play different. Because if you bring Eze in, no matter what anyone wants to say.
So wait, is Gyokeres not the second way of playing? Because in my head, Gyokeres was coming in as the box crashing, header winning, last minute knee sliding striker. But you're saying
I think he can be both.
So you're saying he's more like Havertz than he is like Haaland?
Yeah. For example, even in games last season, when I watched Arsenal, no, I think he's not as good, and I'm not saying he's him, but I think he's a little bit more like, even maybe a bit more like Harry Kane.
Gyokeres?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, in terms of a finisher. Yeah. I've bet as a finisher. Yeah,
and I think he can also drop a bit deeper and do stuff a bit deeper and get people involved in the game a bit more than Haaland.
I hear that, guys. There's a little bit of breaking news, sorry, that I wanted to go to. I was just reading it as it's come through. I'm going to read this out now. Make of it what you will, ladies and gentlemen. But it says here, this is from Fabrizio Romano. It says Benjamin Sesko is really open to joining Manchester United even without European football. The conversation between Sesko and United is entering into the details of the project. He is really excited about joining.
You're signing him. You're signing him.
I think that's
been obvious.
Newcastle are still there. Newcastle, a big team.
Newcastle ain't getting no one. Newcastle ain't getting no one, man. Newcastle are the joke, man, of this transfer window. Let's be real. Newcastle's stocks have actually dropped massively in this one transfer window. It's so crazy, man.
You know what annoys me? I had a feeling this would happen. The fact that United were able to get two of the best players in the Prem last season in Kunin and Bremo, I knew this would have a positive knock-on effect for them, because other players are looking at that. Yes, they finished 15th. Yes, they lost the cup final, but it's like, hold on, they're still attracting some of the best players in the league. Sesko's probably thinking Newcastle now. Sorry, Mama Frosty, we're actually admitting it in the chat. They're getting rejected left, right, and centre. So Sesko might be looking at that. Hold on, one game a week, we could slowly build. I'm going to be playing with better forwards, not a Garnacho, not a Højlund, not an Anthony, actually with better forward. So I can see this Sesko deal happening, and it makes me
happens 100%. Listen, bro, you see Newcastle as well, and do you know what? It won't happen, and I believe you will get Isak, but if Newcastle was serious and actually care about the future of their team, they don't let him go.
Oh,
they
actually just can't say that.
No.
Sorry, guys. Another update as well, just come out, just tweeted by Fabrizio. Is Man United have informed RB Leipzig they are prepared to send a formal bid for Benjamin Sesko if the player accepts the destination. Newcastle also ready to bid since last week to match Sesko's financial request. Decisions up to Sesko. I think what's interesting when you couple that in with the other bit he said, where he's like the player's excited to join United. This is the thing for me. Newcastle haven't bid, even though they can match everything that the club and the player wants. And I still think the reason they haven't bid is because Craig Hope has said this evening in an article that again, it's the second time in 2 days, what he's been told is the player prefers Manchester United. So look, I never ever. I hope Rob T, you're wrong. I hope it doesn't go into a bidding war, because we'll lose that because we haven't got money.
Jurgen Klopp, he's the head of Red Bull, whatnot. He really needs to speak to Sesko right now. So help Liverpool out. Go to
Jurgen Klopp actually wants.
Bro, why are you worrying about? Why are you worrying?
That's the dream. That's your gaffer, your former gaffer's talent ID, and you wonder why Michael Edwards left the club. He couldn't deal with this bullshit.
I know he left. They didn't get on.
Yeah, Rasmus is the dream. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, look, I'm quietly confident about it. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself. My view is this. I don't think Man United do this whole public thing. I don't think we tell Ornstein it's our priority if we weren't already fairly convinced. We don't talk to clubs normally until the players have agreed to move to us. And yeah, look, I agree with what you've said, Rom. I think the signing of Mbeumo, the signing of Cunha, it sends a message. And I think we've had Mo say it on a stream yesterday. We had Ches in the chat, in the group chat. Sorry, I don't understand what's going on. How are United beating Newcastle with the players? Well, because you were all deluded into this false narrative that United were literally dead and we were finished and we were over. We may not get back in the next 5 years, 10 years to the pinnacle. That is all true. But people don't. I just think sometimes people forget what Man United are as an entity, what Liverpool are, what Real Madrid, Barcelona. There are just certain football clubs where the knock is legitimately we are on our ass, and we're still able to attract top
Terry.
players. Now, we've been rejected this summer by people too, but I remember getting rejected by players when the Fergie was here. So, yeah, look, I hope this, for
Terry.
me, I'm putting it out there now. We sign him. We're adding 50 goals to our total of last year in the
The
Premier
thing
League.
is,
I got a question.
50?
Go on.
In
I've got-
all competitions.
Wait, hold on. We're adding how many goals?
Sorry, not 50. We're adding 40 goals. 40 goals.
I got a question for Terry and Staffy.
Adding 40 goals.
40 goals.
yeah, with
So
Sesko.
we are going to score
Oh.
84 goals this season.
Yeah, about 80 goals.
You know what?
Jay,
Terry and Staffy.
you know what to do.
About 80 goals. About 80
Terry and
goals,
Staffy,
yeah.
aren't you not slightly concerned though? Because I feel like, and I've said this on many streams, I feel like you're still, now you've got two, in my opinion, goal machines or players that have high output in Cunha and Mbeumo. I feel like your priority should now be a midfielder. I actually think you can be all right with
No.
a Xerxes because you have either 10s with high output. I feel like you should be
I hear that, right? And I think that's a better argument. It depends on whether or not you rate Sesko and whether or not you think United will develop him well. So I think that plays a factor. In my world, I think he's very good and I think we'll develop him. And I know that our history in the last 10 years has been bad, but I can't judge the new regime did because it's different people. So for me, I look at the couple of the young players that we've brought to this club in the last year, Lenny Yoro, Heaven. I think we've progressed them both very well so far. I think Yoro is looking. You look at Yoro, like we look for indicators. Yoro through pre-season, he looks ready to start. He looks ready to go. There's still holes in his game because he's a young centre back, but I've seen him develop. So your point holds water, but I look at it this way. I think our strategy is correct. Why? Staffy talks about the midfield a lot, and I absolutely agree with him that it isn't good enough. And if we ever want to think about winning a Premier League again, it needs serious work. The issue is this. Say we spent all the money we did on our midfield this summer. Actually, let's say we went and bought Rodri, Vitinha, and Enzo Fernandez, and we made the midfield amazing. We bought Chelsea's midfield and put it in our team. We would still probably lose and draw the same amount of games as last season. We'd dominate the ball, we'd pin teams back, but we wouldn't score goals. So for me, I like the idea.
You've addressed that in Cunha and Mbeumo.
Yeah, but I look at it this way, right? So I look at it like this. We still dominated the ball last season against the vast majority of the Premier League. I still think we were the 6th highest team in the league possession-wise next year. I still want us, by the way, between now and the end of the window to go and buy a more athletic midfielder to help us. But I like the idea of fixing that department because we were always going to have to paper over cracks this season, squad-wise. And I think the best way to paper over cracks is scoring lots of more goals. And then as we move forward, maybe one midfielder this summer. Next summer, by the way, I want nearly all our money to go into the midfield. I want to raise the technical floor, the physical floor, the athletic floor to go to that next level. But what last season proved to me is that results matter to people more than style of play. And anyone now that talks about style of play over results, I'm just going to go back through their Twitter feed and expose them. I've got a lot of tweets saved. I've got a lot of bookmarks done.
How many money I saved?
Do you know why?
I actually have on my Twitter on my bookmarks. I have hot takes for mine and Mark Goldbridge's show. I have Ruben Amorim and Ineos. Everyone who slags them off, I'm saving them all. I've got fitness stuff. When I see fitness things that I can use, and then I have Staffy's tweets.
When you're big, man. What can I say?
But I've got one for Dons. I've got one for everyone who's straight factory.
Do you know what's funny, Terry? Do you know why I agree with you? Because let's say United had 10 games where you were playing amazing, but the results didn't match. You'll be screaming, but we're not winning. It's just very difficult.
And Staffy, I'll use Staffy as an example because he's a good guy. Staffy, until he lost his mind with losing the final, he'd become grumpy. Staffy was the one that turned my head off.
Stay quiet.
This is what, but that's you can, you're internalizing the anger. You know, that's why the depression. That's where the sports depression comes from. Let it out.
I did get depressed again.
We actually weren't bad in so many of the games in the second half of last season in terms of dominating the ball, creating the chances, XG, opportunities to take the lead, go 1-0 up, 2-0 up, kill games off. We just didn't have the killers. So for me, I understand this strategy. We still won't be perfect though, and this is the only time when you get into the debates with people over this. Is people are just like they're still United fans laboring under this illusion that we were going to fix everything this summer. And I don't like it, Terry, because we haven't fixed these 3 areas as well. And I sit there and think, look how much money Chelsea spent in their second and third summers under Clear Lake, plus the January, a billion, and they still have holes. No one is, unless you've already got a brilliant squad. You can't drop 300 or 400 million and fix Man United's squad in one summer. So for me, it's about, and we don't even have that money. Let's fix the department. And I think there's a very solid argument with Sesko, Cunha, and Mbumo, Ahmad, Bruno propping it up, and then the supporting act of the Xerxes of this world. We've got a strike force that you could throw into an argument with most strike forces in the Premier League. On paper, we've got to see how they play together. But on paper, listen, I would put Liverpool's above it as an example. But I look at it and I think to myself, I look at City as an example. They've gone and bought Cherky, who I think could be amazing. Mamouchi's very good. But most of their wingers, I look at and go, I'm not sold on any of them in terms of output. I wouldn't swap Mbumo for Savio or Doku. I wouldn't swap Cunha for any of their wide players or their 10s. I'd keep Cunha. I think he's that good. By the way, I think Cherky's amazing and I'd like him at United, but I wouldn't have done a swap. So I like the fact we're addressing that department, but that's then where I put the pressure on the manager and I put the pressure on the players, because that's one element of our team next year that I don't expect to be bad, and that's scoring goals. Do I expect the midfield to be as good as City's or Chelsea's? No. Do I expect us to be as good defensively as Liverpool or Arsenal? No. We've got to address that later down the line. I still think the biggest issue and around the discourse on Man United is this weird timescale thing. People just want the improvements instantly. They don't understand that it was always going to take 3 to 4 years to fix this squad. But I do think being top heavy, loads of goals to begin with, try and outscore our opponents, I think that's the best approach for this first summer. Next year, when there's more money and hopefully some European money as well, that's where I want massive heavy investment in midfield players and probably defenders as well. But midfield would then be my key focus after that. So I don't disagree that midfield is needed, but I just think we have to prioritize. I'd go for goal scorers first.
I mean, after the striker, I still expect us to go for a midfielder. So yeah,
I agree. I
do think we're going to go for some. I don't know who it's going to be, but I do expect us to go for someone. It's not just that I got your logic of rebuilding one department at a time. The issue is that our midfield has been neglected for a lot of years. Like I generally don't think I don't think we've even replaced Carrick, and he retired back in like 2017. Yeah. That's how long ago it was. We never replaced him with a player that can hold the midfield like he did. Like the closest you can get to it is Matic, and we know Matic was I don't know, he was like a 1-2 year rental because he was getting washed. Yeah. Other than that, we generally neglected the midfield for years. So our midfield, as bad as we were last season scoring goals, I feel like the only reason the midfield doesn't get talked about enough is it's harder to measure the metrics for the midfield than it is for a front line. You can look at the front line and say, they don't score goals, it's bad. Let's rebuild it. That's why the midfield, to me, kind of went under the radar. At midfield, I think it's just as bad as our front line last season. There's so many games where we just had the ball and didn't know what to do with it. We were so poor physically.
Because obviously you play your 3-4-3. Who will predominantly be the midfield two that start? This is to you and Terry, actually. Who's going to be
going into this season?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of combinations that I can't.
I want it to be Ugarte, Mainu, Bruno, the main three used. But I do have a horrible feeling like Cass and Bruno are going to get used a lot, and I don't.
That's why he's actually using Mainu a lot, and I actually like how he's been using Mainu, which was one of my biggest criticisms to him. You can't really come in one of the best talents, if not the best talent in your club, and you can't find a place in the team. That was one of my biggest criticisms. When he played 2 minutes in the Europa League final, I just felt like it was a slap in the face. No way one of your best players is sitting there on the pitch for only 2 minutes, sitting on the bench and only plays 2 minutes. So I think he's trying to find ways to use him rather than that bullshit of just sticking him in the 10, because I think Mainu offers a lot more in the midfield than that. But it will probably be between him and Bruno the most. And then you're always going to have one of the destroyers between Casemiro and Ugarte. Casemiro, I can't wait to see the end of him, though. It's been 3 years I've been begging for this guy to leave. No, I breakdancing mid-pitch yesterday.
I hear you on that. And I think it's interesting, though, because I still go back to a lot of things a sporting fan said when he first arrived. They said it's going to be horrible, you're going to hate it, but give it time. One of the other things when you read their threads or you read their articles about him is they spoke about how good players that ended up becoming integral were used quite sparingly to begin with, and one of the methods for that is some of them weren't fit enough to play his style, and he didn't want to. And I look at Mainu in this way. Wasn't fit enough to do it. None of our players were. You don't want a player that you are genuinely going to rely on for the next 3, 4, 5 years to be running around unfit, snapping muscles, pulling groins, pulling hamstrings. The second element is you don't always want to expose the player to all the failures and all the issues that transpire. Mainu, along with a number of players, has come back to Man United fitter, leaner, stronger this summer, and you can see it. You can see the way we're trying to play has improved in that way. And even when he came on yesterday, he actually had only a small part yesterday because he played quite a large period of the previous game. He came on and he was another level to every other midfield player on that pitch. So I think we're going to see some progression with him him this year as well. And I just think it was a case of adapting, and I think he was protecting the player. The problem is we were in such a mess. We're so angry as fans. Sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. But I've been impressed with the progression so far this summer. My feet are still firmly on the ground. There's still a long way to go. But this is maybe why I have the energy that I have for Arsenal earlier when I said, well, the new players haven't really been seen yet. We've only seen Cunha and young Diego Leon, who, by the way, got the greatest assist in the history of our club yesterday. The greatest assist. Faked falling over to put off the defenders to allow a player to run through is amazing. But I've been quite impressed with him.
He reminds me of Valencia.
So similar the way he gets the ball and runs with it. And again, these are the signings I'm always intrigued with Ineos, because we didn't make them for 10 years. We didn't really make signings like this for about 10 years with Woodward and Co. We've done it with Heaven. We've done it with Leon. There is Chido and there's Kone, but I think they're a little bit younger, where we bought these players that no one really knows or anybody's really heard of outside the clubs they're at. But I've watched him in the appearances he's made, and I'm just like, I don't mean this horribly to Harry Hamas. This is going to upset a lot of United fans. He's from the academy. We bought him from another academy, but he's there. I thought it was okay. What I've seen from Diego Leon in 2 or 3 games excites me so much more. There's something different about him as an example. But yeah, look, we haven't even seen Mbeumo kick a ball. We haven't seen Mbeumo and Cunha together. We've still got to add the striker. I'm quietly confident of a massive improvement in Man United next year. I think we'll see it. We're not perfect. We're not winning no league, but I think we'll be a team. I think we win. I think we can easily win 10, maybe even 12 more games next season compared to last year.
Where do you think you finish?
That's almost half a season.
Well, but you've only got to go back through last season and look at the results in the games, and you can go back even to Ten Hag's period. You think about both. If I use both games against West Ham as a prime example, battered them, knocked the door down, couldn't score goals. Lost both games. Both games got nicked against us. You go to the Liverpool game away. You go to Arsenal at home, City at home, as examples. Spurs away, back end of the season. You go back to even some of the games that we lost 2-0 to, like Crystal Palace. Chance miss, conceded. There was a team we played. I think it was actually Crystal Palace at their ground early on last season. Do you remember Garnacho hit the crossbar and missed open goals? So many games last season where we just kept on missing chances. Then we concede and we crumble. I believe with Cunha and Mbeumo and with a good quality striker like Sesko, I believe many more of those draws and defeats become wins. Now, there are some games we won narrowly. You might draw some of them, but I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that we win 10 more games next season. Because I think
I actually think you're right. I think you're right, Terry. And the reason I think you're right is because I see the same exact thing with my club last season. It's just then the attack is so important for putting games away and putting games to bed. For you guys, how many games were you dominating in the first, playing better in the first half, should have been 2 goals ahead, but you weren't? Then all of a sudden you give the team that ain't playing as good a sniff, they get a goal, and then all of a sudden their towels are up and they end up winning the game and you lose. It happens so much, and this is the point.
Both Nottingham Forest games last year, we lost 1-3-2. 2 of those goals were, again, I still think we need to add a goalkeeper this summer, but one of the shots in that game, Onana literally dived the wrong way. First time in my history I've seen it. The next goal was a simple cross. He should have just come out and caught it. He didn't. We ended up losing 3-2. And we just... those types of things are a problem. But then where we struggled is we were just missing so many chances. We lost 1-0 to them just after the international break in March. And we absolutely had the territory. We had the ball in the right areas. Maguire nearly equalized right at the end. I look at those games and think, with the 3 attackers we're adding, I don't see why we won't be able to play as well as we did again, because we're improving fitness. We know the system better. We're adding better strikers. We're adding better attackers. I just think it's not beyond the realms of possibility. At the very least, I think we'll add 7 or 8 more wins, but I think it could be as high as 10 to 12. I think it could go that high.
But here's the thing. You're completely discounting the games that we won that you can argue we probably shouldn't have
I
won.
was going to say that Southampton game, at Old
Thank
Trafford
you.
where they battered you
Okay.
pillar to post.
I'm a-
But then
so-
individual brilliance.
So,
you out.
that's fair. That's fair. But equally, in that regard, Man United have been winning. Teams like Man United that have good attackers have been winning games like that against relegation teams for 30 years. That happens every single season. Every single one of our
And
teams.
not just relegation, Terry. There's a lot. So let me give you an
What other
example. There's a
games?
lot of
What other
games
games?
where we won because of an individual, like on the day. Ahmad was
Yeah.
brilliant. Bruno just gave us a free kick or something.
Exactly.
Those are not really sustainable wins where I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
going into next
They
season, I'm
happen
going to
every
build on
year.
that.
I
That's
don't
why the
dis-
Giuseppe example that he used
Sorry,
with
go on.
Arsenal is actually not valid. Arsenal won a lot of games because they play sustainable football. And there's a lot of games that they didn't win because just on the day, they probably needed a better goal scorer.
Yeah,
But they
I don't- I
repeated these
disagree.
performances enough times to say, just get me a better attacker and I'll probably score these goals. United didn't even win back-to-back games in the Premier League last season. So at no point did I see a consistent enough style of play or football or performances or whatever to say with a little bit of improvements, we just get better next season. So let's just say 12
sorry,
wins.
sorry.
I mean, 12 wins times that by 3.
So what?
Is that 36
again?
points? That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, again, but that's the absolute maximum I've said. I've said for me,
I'd say another 6 or 7.
a minimum 7 to 8.
Get 5 to 7 more wins. About that, yeah. Around that range.
Maybe the thing is where I just disagree with you, where I disagree with what you've said is yes, there are games like the Fulham game was quite a close game and we scored a little bit of a fluky shot. Why with better attackers would that not be an easier game to win? I think a lot of I can't think of very many
We're
games
not
last.
playing the same teams. Also, you got to remember that some of these teams improved, some of them regressed.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, well, this and that will happen this summer. You know, for instance, we got beat home and away by Brentford last year. I don't think Brentford will beat. I just don't think Brentford will beat very many teams this year in comparison to last year.
They could go down.
So you kind of get that, but when I go through it, there are not very many wins that we had. Like we beat Fulham because our wins aren't a lot. We beat Fulham the opening day of the season 1-0. Should have been by a lot more. We were the better team in that game.
That was the Xerxes goal, wasn't it?
That was a Xerxes goal. The next win we got was 3 games later where we beat Southampton 3-0 away from home. We deserved to win that. The next game, we actually beat Brentford at home 2-1, and we were the better team that day. We were the better team, and we deserved to win it. The next win we had was 3-0 against Leicester. We deserved that. The next win was 4-0 against Everton. 4 goals. For us, that's a lot. The next win was 2-1 away to Manchester City. Now, yes, it was a last-minute goal, but we were the better team on that day against Manchester City. The next win was Southampton 3-1. I'll concede that. We'll turn it into a loss, okay? The next game was Fulham 1-0 away. Even game. Scored it with a thunderbolt. But I don't see why we couldn't do that next year with better attackers.
We scored a deflected goal in the last 10 minutes.
Okay, but we've better
it was the
strikers.
worst football game I've ever seen.
Yes.
It had the lowest
Okay,
XG in the
but
Premier League over the last 2 years. I
that's
remember that game.
irrelevant. Your point is they weren't dominating us and pinning us in. It wasn't a good game. I don't see why we wouldn't win that next year with better attackers, right? The next win after The next win after that came 3-2 against Ipswich, and that was a game of where I ain't taking that away from us. We were the better team, went down to 10 men and saw it through, so we deserved to win that. Then we beat Leicester 3-0 away from home. And then our next win was a final day of the season where we were the better team against Aston Villa. The only reason they probably had a call to win it with that penalty, we missed so many chances in the first half to put the game to bed. So when you actually go through our wins last year, you've got the Southampton games, the only one where you could genuinely look at it and say, we didn't deserve to win that game. All the other matches, we were equal to the other team, or we were better than them. So
let me throw another spanner in the works.
Crazy how short that win list was, by the way.
It ended so cool.
I bet there was a lot of draws that probably just about nicked a point as well. But then vice versa, there might be games where you probably even didn't deserve a draw.
When I did the exercise on this, me and KJ did it, and we were very, very conservative. So any games that we lost by 2 or more goals, we kept them as defeats. And what we did with the draws is we went through the games where we had the higher XG or we had more than 5 or 6 more attempts on goal than them. And obviously we remember a lot of the games as well. And just the back end of last season, you've got like West Ham at home where we lost 2-0. Should have scored so many goals in that game, and then we conceded 2. You've got the Bournemouth 1-1. We kept that as a draw. Wolves, when they beat us at home 1-0 right near the end of the season, we battered them all game, and then they conceded the free kick late. Obviously, when Newcastle beat us 4-1, you keep it as a loss. City at home, we were the better team. Garnacho, your boy, Quest, missed 4 or 5 brilliant chances. The Forest game I already mentioned. Arsenal at home. We had 4 or 5 massive chances in the second half.
Should have won that game.
Should have won that game, right? You keep going through it. The Everton 2-2, keep it as a draw, right? I've said to keep that in.
The Liverpool one.
Spurs defeat a 1 early. the amount of massive chances Garnacho missed in that game.
You know what, though?
I'm sorry, I'm
You know
turning it
what,
into a win.
Staffy and I have to be honest here, Liverpool fans are going to slate me. I was at the game. At Anfield, you should have won that game. I know a lot of people are crying and that, but you should have won that game.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not guaranteeing the wins. I'm just saying there's a possibility here that if Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko played for us on that day, everything else being the same, why is it a weird prediction to say that could have been a win?
It's not a weird prediction. It's just because you said a large number. That's all.
We had so many games like that last year. So many.
Do you know why
that's how football works? Like, not because I beat you last season, I'm going to beat you again.
Works. Football works like this. You buy better players, your team gets better results. Typically speaking.
You know why it's actually a positive? You know why it's actually a positive for United? Because if we're being honest, Cunha and Mbeumo, Cunha for me gets into probably every Prem side before I start signing players, and then Mbeumo probably not Liverpool and Arsenal. I think Saka and Salah obviously better than him. Everyone else, I think, Cunha and Mbeumo get into most teams. But the reason why United fans should be excited about these two, forget about output. They're not reliant on any systems. They don't need another player to create for them. Yeah. Them two just score for themselves. They'll create for themselves.
They score goals, and they'll both get 4 or 5 each, like this minimum next year, where it's not even a half chance, but they drop a shoulder and they bend it into the top corner.
And they bang. Yeah.
Again, that wins you games. And the reason why I'm going to say that buying better players does help your team, we've all just sat here for an hour, beginning of the show and in the middle of the show, talking about how Arsenal need to add more creativity. We all know that you're not going to coax that into the players they've got. How are they going to do it? By buying better creators. And if they buy better creators, everybody in theory will go, well, I think they can score more goals now, thus they can win more games. But it comes to Man United where we're like, if we buy more goals, we can win more games. It's football don't work like that. I think it literally does work that way. You know, you buy, depending on the holes in your team, if you're leaking goals and you buy better DMs, better centre-backs, better goalkeepers, unless you've got a shit, you think the system's shit or the manager's shit, then typically speaking, you get better in that area. Like
he 100% added more goals. I agree with you. I just went by your margin. I felt like your margin was a little bit exaggerated. I'm not gonna lie. Predicting 40 to 50 more goals and all these points.
By yourself when you've got half an hour, sit down and go through last season's results. Go back and just remind yourself of the games. Watch the highlights. Me and KJ sat there for an hour doing this just as a thought experiment. And conservatively, we added 24 more points to the team. Conservatively.
Yes, I mean, 24 points is not a bad. It doesn't sound like because what 24.
24 points is 8 wins.
Yeah, I did say.
Wait, if you add that total onto what you got last season, where would you have ended up?
If we had 24 more points, we'd have got 66 points, which would have put us joint with Newcastle.
Which is where I think United will probably be about this season.
Yeah.
It is not. Again, I look at it this way. People go, I'm deluded, and then they'll go, but where's your standards? Well, I'm expecting us to do this. That's a standard. It's weird that when you have a standard, you're called delusional. If I say, oh, we just come 10th, it's okay. It's, well, where's your standards gone? No, I expect us to aim minimum 7 or 8 more wins.
And I think one game a week will help
10
you.
to 12.
That one game a week, I think, will help you as well. I'm not going to.
It should do. Superchats here. No team should sleep on Chelsea, United, and Spurs. They have good managers. They will be amongst the top 6, especially United. Wouldn't it be beautiful to go back to being the top 6? Just us guys back where we belong.
Spurs are going to do well. I know that Henry's not here, but I don't know what you guys think. If you watch the game today, Spurs generally, this is the first time in the last 2 years I felt like they look like a Premier League team again. Like they generally look like they play English football.
Yeah.
I have them to get a Champions League place, and I've been called all sorts because I just rate Thomas. Terry, do you remember, right? And I get pelts for it all the time. Do you remember when I wanted Klopp out and I said Thomas Frank, and you and KJ looked at me like I've been an admirer of Thomas
you
Frank.
I rate him. I was watching him today, and the way he had them drilled to make it hard for Arsenal, I was like, yeah, they're going to win a lot. They're going to score a lot of goals in games and then just lock teams out. Yeah, and that's what they should do. I think United will compete for the league. Then don't go that far. Don't go that far, my friend. That's crazy.
the guy who slandered me also predicted that United win the league. This is how
I did have a dream. I did have a dream about that though. I had a dream about that about 4 weeks ago, and I woke up.
Then you woke up and rubbed your ass.
He woke up and he had his wank sock in his hand.
I was crying with my cock in my hand. It was crazy, but I woke up right. I woke up. And the feeling of disappointment that it weren't real, because it was like the final day of the season, and we were like and it was weird because we were in this new studio, and I couldn't work out where all my equipment was, and I was getting stressed, and KJ was there, and a few other people, and I'm like, look, guys, the last game's kicking off, and if all we got to do is draw, and we win the league, and we were all sitting there, and I was just like emotional, thinking, I can't believe we've done it this season, and then I woke up. And I had this moment where I went, oh, no, it was a dream. I was so sad.
You know, Ricky, tell me stuff. With that United segment, I know obviously teams are still going to sign players. And I always say give a prediction once the window shuts. That's when you can give an accurate one. But if you just had to say on the 31st of July, where do you think United are finishing? I thought you were around 8th, not 8th or 9th as it stands. But where do you have you lot finishing?
My prediction is starting to change a little bit, not because of us necessarily. It's because I'm looking, to be fair, are weakening. No, hold on. I'll give you the reason. I'm seeing some teams that are weakened around us. I think Aston Villa is getting weaker. Newcastle are definitely getting weaker.
Palace.
I think United are still a mid-table team. It depends on where they finish in mid-table, but like it might just be affected by the teams around us. Like, I can't ignore what everyone's doing around us. So equally, when I say teams are improving, I have to keep the same energy and say teams are regressing.
Yeah. Breaking news to people in the chat. Breaking news to people in the chat. You can change this prediction, you know, so you can't necessarily hold us to this prediction. Players will be signed, players will be sold. You can change this prediction.
I agree.
No, if Isak leaves Newcastle, like, I'm sorry, now I got to take Newcastle out of the top 4 race. I'd be delusional to say, no. Newcastle's still guaranteed top 4. They lost the second, to a lot of people, he is the best striker in the league, but he's minimum the second best striker in the league. How the fuck can I not change my prediction if that happens? You know, so a lot is getting affected around us. I still got to see a little bit more, I'll be honest.
You said all of that, but what position? I want to know from you two. Just if you had to.
I did say, I still think we're mid-table, so I said like max we're like 8.
Fair. What about you today?
I'm at a point now where I'm at a point now where I'm between 6th and 8th right now. Let's see what Sesko does. Let's see what else we buy.
How many goals do you think Sesko scores? Because you're making crazy predictions out there. So
I'm gonna go with.
You had 13 last season.
I'm gonna go with 15.
I'll go.
I was gonna say that.
That's a good number.
11.
Where do you think they're gonna finish? Where do you think they're gonna finish?
Ooh, me.
Roms.
Oh no! I said I think they'll finish 8th. I'll go with 8th.
By the way, when I said 40 extra goals for Man United, do you know that only means on average Mbumo, Cunha, and Sesko have to score 13 each?
Yeah, there's a lot of goals still.
That's possible.
I know, but they are all possible. They are all able to do that. Like I'm putting pressure on them to go.
You know what? Do you know what? With Mbeumo, I checked his season last year. He got, I think it was 20, and 9 were penalties. Take away the penalties, he's still in the double digits.
No. He had 5 penalties, not 9.
Oh.
Bowman had 5 penalties that season.
I thought it was 9 penalties.
9? You think Brentford had 9 all penalties in the whole season? Why? What the fuck was going on there? Who the hell was baiting the referee?
Gunnar Links here says United will get 4th. I take that right. I take that right now.
His brother just said we're going to compete for the league, by the way.
I can't have United in the Champions League.
Staffy, both sides of his mouth. That Chelsea fan lacks ball knowledge. Lack of ball knowledge is jarring.
Hey, this is your welcome to the terrace moment. So
that it only takes one tweak in a system to change your fortunes. Remember Conte's Chelsea in 2016 after the loss to Arsenal and Chelsea switching to a back 3.
I don't even know what the context he's making that comment in.
Just take it as a compliment.
Yeah, I just thank you, bro.
I appreciate
welcome to the terrace. I remember that. I went to a party in South London somewhere that night. Me and one of my best mates, Phil, we were staying at a hotel and we watched that game in his hotel room. And then we were like laughing, like Chelsea looked screwed. Arsenal just beat them, went to the party and whatever else. We never expected after that point you guys would barely win every single game for the rest of the season.
They did like 4-0 that day, right? I remember they wiped the floor with them.
3 or 4-0, I remember.
3 or 4.
They wiped the floor with you.
Yeah.
And then you went on a crazy undefeated streak. You won like about 20 in a row or something like that.
Yeah. I think it was fair. I think it was 13 or 11 or 13.
It's still like high there in the record. Like every year when someone goes on a winning streak, I always see that Chelsea team up there, like in the list.
The maddest game that season was when you went away to the Etihad. Getting battered. I think KDB hit the crossbar, and I was like, I'll lose to that. And then you went on to win. I remember just thinking, yeah, this
What?
Chelsea
3-1,
team-
yeah.
yeah, that was a
You
great
guys-
I saw
game.
that game the other day.
Listen, the thing is, goals are so pivotal, man. That's why you guys with Mbeumo as well. I think he's so slept on as well. With how many
He's
goals.
going to be our top scorer. That's my prediction. He's easily going to be our top
It's
scorer.
why like I don't get why people.
So how many do you think? Because this is what I don't. Sorry, indirect over talk over you. Sorry. So, but I don't think these guys are going to take goals away from others per se. Like, yes, Garnacho, because Garnacho only got a handful. Rasmus only got. There's very few. There's minimal amount of goals they can take away from people that didn't score any goals. So, how many goals do you think Mbeumo is going to get, and how many goals do you think Sesko will get? Staffy?
Is this league? It's
League,
this-
yeah, league.
Yeah,
14.
yeah, I think Mbeumo gets about 17.
Mhm.
And I'll probably say Sesko gets 12 to 15.
Let's go at
maybe.
12, right? So even if it's 12, we're only 11 goals away now from adding the 40 that you looked at me like I was a madman.
Yeah, no, but at the same time, you got to remember, like, all right, take away all Garnacho's goals, which was like, it wasn't actually a lot. Sorry, shouldn't be saying that. but it
Hey,
wasn't
he
a
got
lot.
8. He got 8. He got 8.
I was about to say it was 7, but there you
You
go.
really
8.
done your research.
More than Madueke.
No, he got 6. He got 6 league goals last year.
So okay, 6 in the league.
All right, I mean, he took the most shots in our team behind Bruno
Pressie's done
Fernandes.
it,
But
dude.
anyways,
This is your.
Like when you say this is the thing, and the goals, even with like us here, like this is why I don't get why people are people think Arsenal fans shouldn't have any confidence whatsoever. Like when you look at last season for us, right? Like, do you know who our top goal scorer was in the Premier League? Do you know who it was?
let me
it
tell you,
Havertz,
it wasn't
It
Saka.
was Kai Havertz with 9 goals. That was our top
I was going to
goal
say
scorer in
Marino
the
because I
Premier
know
League.
Marino scored 9.
Yeah, but that was in all comps. 9 goals in the Premier League. Yeah, so you're telling me Gyokeres, if we bring in Eze and these guys, this is what I mean. We
Yeah, but
only
you
lost
also
4
think he
games
plays the
last
same way as
season.
him, Giuseppe. So this is why, like, I can't agree with you. You think you just said Gyokeres is similar to Harry Kane.
What we lose, right? Rashford got 4 goals. Rasmus got 4 goals. Garnacho got 6 goals, right? So yeah, you're losing 14 goals you're taking away from those league goals last year. But I still think you can make that up with other players that are there. I would expect Ahmad this season to score more. I would expect Bruno actually to score more goals with better people around him, as an example. I expect us to get more free kicks, get more penalties as well. That helps. But I think you can make that up in the aggregate, and I really do. Xerxes, I think Xerxes, from a goal point of view, he only got 3 goals last year. I think if we're a better team, I don't see why he can't double his goals. I don't see why he can't get to 8 or 9. And that suddenly, if he gets to 8 or 9, then I don't believe that's impossible for him, because I actually think he'd have scored some goals in the back end of the season if he didn't pick up that injury, because he was starting to look really good. You can make that up. I don't see why it isn't. Listen, we might only end up with 35 extra goals or 30 extra goals, but that's good enough. I want them to aim for something big. And I think they should set that as a target and go, let's try and get 40 more goals as a team. Because you get that amount of goals, I think we'll be in a much better position. Ain't it funny how many Arsenal fans Spurs employ?
So what?
It
I
means
don't understand.
they sign loads of Arsenal fan players.
Oh,
Like,
To be fair, I mean, like, what the percentage of Arsenal fans to Spurs fans in London? I mean, someone is not going to turn a job because they're employed by Spurs. That's what I mean.
And
Like,
we're
we
more
go to the
international
Brooklyn
than them
Nets
as well,
arena,
isn't
and
it?
there's Knicks fans that work there. That's fine. Happens all the time.
Terry, stay level-headed. It's not about not being level-headed. I'm telling you what I expect and what I want from my team. That's not
It's
me.
not a crazy prediction. I can't lie.
It's like I'm
optimistic.
not saying all these things that like a guarantee. I'm saying that I've looked at it and I think if Amorim gets the best out of these players, they perform to the best of their levels. And I think one of the biggest hindrances with Man United is we didn't have players that would work hard enough for 90 minutes, 38 games of a season. We got lazy bastards, prima donnas, players. I worked hard for 2 games. I'm taking it off a little bit today, and it might only be 5%, but 5% in the Premier League. If Liverpool go into every Premier League game next year with 5% less intensity than last season, they won't make the top 4. You're talking about the pinnacle of sport. If Alexander Usyk goes into the ring, he's one of the greatest boxers of his generation, and he's 5% off his game against another world-class boxer, he'll probably get knocked out. At the highest level of sport, those margins are so fine, and you need people running through brick walls. The players have to suffer every single game, and we're going to keep using that phrase.
Not the word suffer, please. No
Suffer.
more.
Listen, boys, I was only going to do an hour and a half tonight. We've done 2.5 hours, which is crazy. So I appreciate you all being on. I appreciate all the viewers. I appreciate everyone who's hit the like buttons and everyone who is subscribed. We're back tomorrow with more content, including Straight Facts with me, Staffy, Don, and a new member of Straight Facts panel tomorrow as well. Got a new Gooner.
We have a new
joining.
member I don't know of.
Well, all of you don't know, and there is a new group chat with which Quest knows about, which is full of quite a few brand new content creators that me and KJ have been scouting and looking for and researching over the summer. One of the biggest
No
reasons for
respect
doing
to
that.
my seniority. I feel disrespected. I might request a move now.
Well, stop trying to cook me and stop talking about my ass, and you might be all right. It's sexual harassment. That is.
Please, I gave you guys great content today. Stop it.
I know you do, bruv. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see. Where's Toon Tactics? I haven't seen him in weeks, mate. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.
Listen. His name is Mank Tactics because this guy's the first to every time send Man United news in the group chat. When Ramsdale went to Newcastle,
Nothing.
didn't hear nothing. And the
Like
Isak
Don
news came
AFC.
out, the guy gave us 4 words. So he's
Like-
Mank Tactics now. He's
It's
not
like Don AFC, isn't it?
Take care. Yeah, take care, people.